My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Jakey Boy and I, whenever the hell he shows up, are going to break down the entire UFC Vegas 101 fight card, giving you our picks, predictions, bets, and DraftKings plays. But before we do that, let me let you know that Jakey Boy and I are going to be at this event. We will be there in Vegas live, weather permitting. This dramatic background between the two of us on this picture here is the legitimate weather this weekend. Thursday and Friday, we were supposed to get anywhere from 2 to 8 inches of snow here in Dallas. I don't know if you know anything about Dallas, but it snows a little bit. This whole place shuts down. We're supposed to be flying out. Jacob has actually booked 3 separate flights to make sure that he makes it to Vegas. I booked 2 because I was doing it on points because points are refundable. So we should be there. We should be good to go, but you never know what happens. If we are there, come say hi. We will see you. I know this isn't a pay-per-view, but if you see us in the lobby, say hello. I'll buy you a drink, but we should be there. We're doing everything in our power to get there. And then once we're there, you should be downloading the app, checking out the app, looking at all the bets because we have an app. Last year, we put out a survey. We asked the people, what do you want? We got a whole bunch of feedback. We implemented a whole bunch of those things. The number one overwhelming feedback was we want an app, and now you have an app, and you can download it now. Go into your iOS app store, search We Want Picks. I don't know where he is or what he's doing, but is he arts and crafts? Jesus, this is how we start? Anyway, download the app. Inside the app, you'll have everything that you get on the website. The picks, the tools, the bets, the analysis, everything. You're also going to get more talent. This ridiculous picture that he sent me is BetSam. BetSam is now part of the We Want Picks crew. We're just gobbling up New Zealand talent for some reason. But BetSam, if you don't know, if you follow any of those pick tracking nonsense, you will see he's in the top 10 of UFC fight pickers in the world, as are Jacob and myself and Artem. So you got 4 of the 10 best at picking fights on the planet. BetSam is now part of the crew doing essentially what Artem does, right? Doing his own videos, his own breakdowns, but also providing picks and bets for premium members. You can unlock BetSam's picks, Jacob's, Big Ange's, Artem's, the artificial intelligence, everything right now. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It is by far the greatest service that has ever been invented and ever been offered in this space. You're going to get things like the safety parlay. Just because we had a couple weeks off doesn't mean we've lost our swag. Safety parlay has hit 9 of the last 10. 9 of the last 10. It is one single bet. It has a 69% ROI. The safety parlay for UFC Vegas 101 is up right now, ready to go, as are many other bets for this event. You're also going to get tools. Premium membership isn't just copy-paste bets, copy-paste picks. You're also going to get tools. You can do some of your own research. One of those tools is the line movement tracker. This will give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. You're also going to get the Prop Hunter, a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. You are going to get a full suite of services that you can unlock right now at WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member. It's freaking $10. And here's the address if you want to send some. I don't know what he's doing. What the hell is going on? Dude, what the fuck is that?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What the fuck is that?
What are you talking about?
What are you wearing? You're 10 minutes late, and you show up looking like a Hershey Kiss. What are you wearing and why?
Well, it's, we're getting close to, can you hear me? We're getting close to Valentine's Day, you know, my love for the UFC. So I figured I would just, kind of dress up.
So this ridiculous ensemble has nothing to do with the fact that Amanda Ribas is fighting on Saturday night? Completely unrelated.
You're talking about Amanda, who did you say?
This is a new low, Jacob. This is a new low. Did you have a mirror in your house? Can you look in a mirror and take a good hard look at yourself and just think about what you're doing?
This is a little bit embarrassing. Now that I'm thinking about it, it is a little bit embarrassing.
Yeah, man. Why don't you go change? I've had a rough couple of days. All I wanted to do, our hot water heater broke. Our flights home were canceled. The internet line was cut. I finally get to sit in this chair, talk about fights after a 3-week drought with my buddy who shows up late looking like an autistic simp standing out front of a car wash. Please change, come back so we can do this breakdown the appropriate way.
I'm embarrassed. I'll be honest. It's, sorry guys. This was, I thought this was gonna be, I'm sorry guys.
This is brutal. I'm not even, this is 100% sincere. We have had, over the break, we went to Florida to see my mom for a couple of days. While we were there, the dog sitter sends us a video of water spraying all over the garage. The hot water heater broke. So now I'm scrambling, trying to get a plumber there, trying to figure out where's the water? Is it on the car? What's going on? Insanely stressful. That gets taken care of. 2 hours later, internet goes out. I call the internet company. Apparently our fiber line was cut. That has to get squared away. We were supposed to be home yesterday. Wake up in the morning, every flight from Florida to Dallas canceled. All of them. So we had to stay another day. What is happening?
I'm just putting this back up. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I finally get back. I walked in my front door maybe 15 minutes ago, scrambling to get this stream ready, get all these beautiful graphics you're about to see ready to go, wondering why Jacob's late. Just for him to... No. What are we doing?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Oh, I can hear you. What are we doing? I thought we were... Well, now you're muted. You muted yourself. You muted yourself, I think, in the software. What a disaster. Your microphone's not muted.
You hear me?
There we go. Oh, it's too loud. And it sounds terrible. I think you accidentally unplugged your microphone or something, so now you need to tell your software. Yeah, this is a mess.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but it's not using your microphone. It's using your headphones. You got to tell the software what to use.
Anyway, you were saying...
No. This audio is horrendous. No, you got to fix it. This is a new low. And now we're muted. This is, guys. All I get is, oh, Ange, your pitch goes too long. Oh, where's Jacob? We missed Jacob. Here he is. I found him for you. And look what's happening. You probably have to leave and then come back. So let's break down what happened. Jacob showed up 10 minutes late in a blow-up doll outfit.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, and it sounds good. I think other than whatever you're wearing now, what's this about?
This is just, I don't know. It's a special, it feels like a special week. So I just thought I'd dress up.
What's so special about this week?
We're real close, like I said, to Valentine's Day. I'm a real big fan of the UFC, and as you mentioned, I think you mentioned the weather. Hopefully we can get out, and I determined it's going to be no issue. But, I love flying, I love traveling, and honestly, Angelo, I'm going to enjoy being with you. So I think this is for you.
Dude, if these tickets weren't so expensive, I would have backed out 10 minutes ago. Said, I don't need this. I'm staying home. It's a heart.
Good luck, Amanda.
And there it is. There it is. Okay. I was
Good
just
luck,
making
Amanda.
sure.
That's how I was just, that's unrelated. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's completely unrelated from anything. Hey, it is Amanda Ribas fight week, and we're wishing her the best of luck.
Okay. I'll let it slide because we haven't had fights in a long time and we need to get the show going, but this was next level for you. We do have a couple of super chats before we dive in. $4.99 from Billy Gearing. I will donate $1 for every minute Angelo is late. Well, now you know Jacob was the reason we were late. I was holding out. figured we got to start the show. So we started the show, and he showed up. Look at the way he showed up. William Gearing again. $10. Angelo late money. We'll take $15 for Jacob being late. We were 15 minutes late. This guy's a man of his word. Patrick Wilkins, let's effing go with the dono train. Thank you. We want picks for everything you do for the community. We appreciate you, Patrick. Thank you very much for the super chat. Turk and Jerk. Okay. Turk and Jerk, LMAO, Happy New Year's, boys. Thank you, Mr. Turk. And then 99 cents from MMA and Boxing Addicts. No comments there, but we appreciate you. You guys ready? We've gone 3 weeks with no fights. Jacob, are you ready? I'm ready.
I think I am. I think I'm ready. I'm ready to get this card. I know everyone is like just wants to get the 311, but you know I think there's some. I think there's some spots on this card, and I think it's going to be. I think there's some decent matchmaking here. So might not be the names you recognize, but I think the fights will be fun.
Could be fun. Listen, I've never been to the Apex. I'm looking forward to going to the Apex, and it looks like it's going to be harder and harder to do. All the fights UFC has announced so far in 2025 are not in the Apex. Bunch of regional fight nights, and they said they were going to do it, and they're doing it.
Yep.
Then we have one final super chat from Black Omis, $10. W Jacob. Don't encourage this. There's just going to be more of it if we encourage it.
I'll put the.
No, you're not doing the breakdown to that absurd. Where do you even buy, dude? If you,
the craziest thing here, real quick question, because you're asking me like where do you buy it or where do you like search that stuff, or I'm sure I'm on a list for the stuff that I search. I mean, I got costumes, all sorts of costumes, and even have for one of my videos, I have a little kid's guitar like to play video. Like it's fucking some of the stuff I buy is it is a little bit sketchy, but. Which one do you think cost more? And obviously, me asking that is, but
yeah,
you would think it'd be the blow up
between
one
this thing or the blow up thing.
Yeah,
I would assume the blow up thing because it has a motor and a blow up engine.
I think that was $30, and I think this was like $45. I was surprised. I thought one of those because I had the idea, and then I was like, man, but that's gonna be like 150. I thought it'd be like a couple $100 for something like that, like those blow up costumes. It was fucking $30. By the way. You didn't see this? When I was just going to knock this down gradually, and it fucking crashed to the ground.
Yeah, no, we heard it.
I lost my audio, and one of my monitors shut off, so I thought I just fucked it all up. I literally hit, and one of my monitors went off, and I lost my audio, and I was like, oh, my God, I just fucked it up.
Well, luckily we're here, and we're ready to break down these fights. Here's the address if you want to...
And then when the mic wasn't working, I literally was like, my mic's broke. I just fucked up the entire stream.
I knew it was a cord because you were shuffling around like an idiot. In
it was connected to my, when this like unplugged for a second, when the thing hit, it went to my phone audio.
What?
My phone's connected. Weird. Yeah, so it was like you were hearing me like roughly through my phone.
No, it was clear. It was just insanely loud. Either way, fights are here. We're going to break down this card. Here is the address if you want to send something to the P.O. Box. We do vlogs. We'll be filming a full vlog for UFC Vegas 101. And time permitting, we'll do a full mail day for that as well. If you want to send something, we want picks. P.O. Box 406, Prosper, Texas, 75078. And let's go ahead and break down this card. The opening fight in 2025 is Nurullo Aliev taking on a short notice Joe Solecki. Nurullo Aliev 9-0 in his career, 5-0 in his last 5 with 1 bite on his record. Taking on Joseph Solecki, 13-5 in his career, 2-3 in his last 5. He is riding back-to-back losses.
He got that point deducted.
For a bite. Yeah, he wasn't fired.
He said he was being fish hooked. But yeah, I forgot about that.
Still, whatever. Igor Severino was fired, lost his whole career, everything. Nurullo Aliev gets to bite people, and no big deal. Anyway, Nurullo Aliev, a dominant wrestler. He's been competing his entire life, wrestling forever. I've mentioned this a few times, but for some reason, if you go check the comment section of any Nurullo Aliev breakdown, people do the Khabib comparisons. And obviously, he's accomplished nothing compared to Khabib, but he does have that similar style. He's got a decent jab. He'll pump that out. He'll shoot some takedowns, great control, pretty measured wrestling and pressure. So there is pressure, but it's not chaos. He knows what he's doing, and it's all calculated. Decent striking as well, pretty light in his feet. And like I said, he will pump that jab and look for the takedowns. Takedowns are powerful. They are relentless. They're not the fastest takedowns in the world, but he'll just keep moving forward. He's coming off that win over Rafael Alves, where I mentioned A point was deducted because he bit the dude. He's taking on Joseph Solecki on short notice, no less. Very good grappler. He does lean heavily on his wrestling and his takedowns. He's very slick on the ground. He can make things happen with the pressure, with the transition. His hands are okay. He's got some clean boxing. It's not always just there to set up takedowns. He will, however, lose a more technically sound kickboxing match to some of the higher level guys. He's coming off that really insanely boring, to no fault of his own, loss to Grant Dawson, who basically held him down for 14 minutes of a 15-minute fight. This is a new matchup. This was slapped together just a few days ago. And Solecki is obviously a much better grappler than Nurullo Aliev's original opponent, but a much worse striker. And I don't think any of this matters, right? I think the fight's going to go the same way I thought it was before. There's going to be some striking exchanges, some eventual wrestling on the Nurullo side. He's going to lock in, get the takedowns, stay safe, get it done. Nurullo Aliev, pretty confident pick here. I think he's safe to parlay. Obviously, these odds are starting to widen. They're starting to get away from you a little bit, but I think Nurullo Aliev wins this with a full camp, let alone short notice. What do you think, Jakey Boombalats?
Yeah, and Bet Sam in the chat mentioned something that I'm going to disagree with. And did you mention the Bet Sam?
Yeah, Bet Sam's part of the crew now. You know what it is? He was ripping off everything we do and how we do it anyway, so you might as well bring him into the fold. There you go, Betty.
I think it's, if you can't beat him, join him. Like we can't compete with.
We
Sam,
were
so.
beating him.
Well.
And never in jest will I even admit to losing to somebody.
But he said, hot take, this is an easier matchup.
He's stealing hot takes too? You're stealing hot takes too?
Oh.
Wow. Unoriginal bastard.
Hot take, this is an easier matchup due to Joe Solecki's willingness to rush submission attempts. I disagree because I think there is going to be more realistic submission attempts. So you kind of got there, but you kind of went past the point of a guy like Nicolle was going to be somewhat dangerous on the feet, but nothing like too crazy. Definitely probably more dangerous than Joe Solecki. But on the ground, he was going to be pretty much worthless, right? If he was getting taken down and he's going to try to get back to his feet, there's no real submission threats. I mean, he might try a guillotine and stuff like that, but he's just kind of go about his business, try to get back to his feet and engage in the striking. Where a guy like Joe Solecki, especially on short notice, already a jiu-jitsu guy, he knows he can be taken down. He doesn't want to get held down. So early on, I think he's going to be hunting for that neck very, very hard. Like, I mean, I think no matter what Nurullo tries to shoot, Jason Nurullo, I think that he is going to be ready with a front choke of some sort, and that makes this, in my opinion, a little bit more of a dangerous fight for Nurullo. But you know, I still think he's going to be fine. You saw in that Alves fight, he got caught in like a little bit of a guillotine situation, this and that. He doesn't panic, right? He's a young kid, but he's experienced in those type of situations, didn't panic, knew how to get out of it. So even if he does get caught a little bit, I think he can scramble out of it. And I think Joe Solecki, hunting for those submission attempts early, he just ends up getting mauled. And, you know, I think this should be a Nurullo play all the way. Whether he gets a finish or not, he's not really a finishing type guy, you know. He's just kind of a grinding wrestler, kind of like a Khabib, like you mentioned. But that's hard to tell, but he should beat Joe Solecki, unless there's like a meme submission.
No, I agree. I actually like Joe Solecki. Years ago, I broke him down. I said he's Jim Miller 2.0, and that's a high compliment. So I like Joe Solecki quite a bit. I just think the Jakar close fight, that is what it is, right? He was just slammed and whatever, right? He got knockout slammed out of was it an armbar, I think? That is what it is. Wow,
you said slam.
And?
Sounds like theft to me.
It's Bet Sam.
It's Bet Slam with Sam.
Tell that to his fucking screen name.
Wow, just, I don't know. I think you guys are 1-1 now.
Sure.
Jason Nurullo.
His last matchup was not a good matchup. Like, Grant Dawson did exactly what Grant Dawson does in that matchup. And this one's more the same. Obviously, Yanal Ashmouz could have knocked out Nurullo. Joe Solecki could submit him.
He's the Red Dragon? Or not the Red Dragon, the Red Fox, right? I think he's the Red Fox. That's great.
Maybe. Yeah, if you could backtrack and make it that instead of the freckled salamander, you'd be all over it. Damn it. Should have leaned into the Red
Fox.
Either way, pretty straightforward. $9,500 for Nurullo Aliev. I actually think that's decent because you're going to get a tale of two fights. You're either going to get the Grant Dawson-esque good takedowns, lots of control, good pressure, or there could be a potential finish there. I don't think so. Probably not. We'll break down the rest of this card, but I do think Nurullo can score well, just really with that offensive wrestling. You got decent odds here on the Bet Openly side. at plus 500 for Joe Solecki, minus 500 for Nurullo, who's squarely minus 600. If you want to unlock all the picks, the bets, which I do have bets on this fight, and more, you can do so right now. WeWantPicks.com. It's freaking $10, and we're about to kick off a spectacular year. Click Become a Member at the top. Couple of super chats. $5 from Enema. What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
$5 from Enema. Add this to Linda's tip at Cloud9 Spa and Massage. What is this? What is this? Off Flamingo Street. Am I supposed to know what this is? Is this what you're laughing at?
Nah, man. I don't know. It's crazy. You know another funny thing about
Is that a
this
rub
whole
and tug
thing?
in Vegas?
You know the other funny thing about the other funny thing about the whole thing, when you were like, wow, what is like arts and craft or wrestling around in there? Dude, I could not figure out the leg holes from the arm holes. Dude, I was sitting in there like, there's an armhole, and I pulled it out. I'm like looking at the face. I'm trying to figure it out. Dude, I sat there forever. I couldn't figure it out, and I started like having a panic attack because I was like, Ansel's going to finish his spiel and then really be pissed off because I'm still not there, and I can't figure out where the fucking armholes are.
Just absolute clown show.
Nurullo.
This isn't a super chat, but this comment annoyed me. Philip Bacon, a perfect card winner.
It is a trash card.
They're coming to... What are you talking about? The main and the co-main are both very
terrible.
good fights.
Rob Font and fucking who? And then you got Song Yudong fighting a 45-year-old Cejudo as the main
I
event.
love Henry
It's a
Cejudo.
fucking joke,
I
dude.
love Dominic
I'd be
Cruz.
pissed if I was Seattle.
First of all, this is basically an Apex card, but not in the Apex. I think it's a good card.
but
I disagree
fucking-
entirely.
If you look at it compared to Tampa,
Dakota gets it. I disagree entirely. I think it's a good card.
I just thought that was a fucking joke. Main and co-main. My fucking cock and balls.
Anyway,
Jason Nurullo.
next up at UFC Vegas 101, we have Victoria Dudakova taking on Fatima Kline. Victoria Dudakova, 8-1 in her career. She is 4-1 in her last 5. She is coming off of that high-paced loss to Sam Hughes, taking on Fatima Kline.
I think it's Fatima.
We're saying Fatima. Fatima Kline, 6-1 in her career, 4-1 in her last 5. She's coming off that short notice loss in her UFC debut. I've railroaded these odds before, and I will do it again, but we'll break down this fight first. We got Victoria Dudakova on the A side. She's an exciting fighter. She'll come across that cage, she'll let her hands fly, and then she'll either keep that striking distance and play that game or try to work in some grappling. Striking is clean. Okay power, nothing dramatic, but there's a little bit of power in there. And her BJJ can be slick. You'll find tape of her shooting doubles. You'll also see fights where she's defending takedowns so that she can strike. She is coming off that loss to Sam Hughes, where her wrestling and striking looked good, but the Sam Hughes pace was just entirely too much. Let me do my breakdown before this idiot starts spewing false narratives. Then we got Fatima.
I don't even give a fuck. I don't listen to you, Angelo. Come on.
There we go. Then we got Fatima Kline, a pressure grappler. She can be dangerous on the ground. She's got very loose striking. She's going to bounce on those toes, plot forward. When the distance is close, she'll just fire right hand and shoot a takedown right behind it. On the ground, immediately starts working with strikes. And then when you start to cover up, that's when she's going to look for a submission. Plenty of cardio, good takedowns. She is a solid prospect. She is also coming off of that short notice loss to Jasmine Jasudavicius, where she had a takedown and then everything went south for her there. Fatima is a 9.5 to 1 favorite. A 9.5 to 1 favorite. That is obscene. And I get it. She should be the favorite. I'm going to pick her to win this fight. But minus 950 means that a few days ago, when she was minus 900, enough money came in to move the line. And Fatima should be able to win. Victoria Dudakova can get sloppy, gets a little overzealous. But Victoria Dudakova is tough. She has her own takedowns, and she'll strike. She's not a complete bum. Her loss to Sam Hughes, she actually looked pretty good in that fight. And it was that Sam Hughes insane pressure and pace that were just a little too much. So I am going to pick Fatima Kline here because I think when you boil it all down, she's a little bit better. But she is not 9.5 to 1 favorite better. She's not minus 950 better. She's a little bit better. So I do have a bet on this fight. I am picking Fatima Kline to win. She probably wins. But I do think it goes to a decision. I think Victoria Dudakova can win a single round. And if she does, we're Gooch-a-looch. I put a quarter of a unit because Big Ange don't bet big on plus 3.5 for Victoria Dudakova. It pays out at plus 300 odds. All she has to do is lose the fight, win one round, have a couple of good grappling exchanges, win a round, bang. One dumb judge scores it the wrong way, bang, bet hits. Jakey boy, why don't you go ahead and pretend Fatima Kline is the second coming of Christ?
Guys, don't tell that.
There it is.
I know it's only a quarter unit, but after this fight, Angelo's going to be like, well, I picked Kline. It was just a quarter unit. You could have expected.
I never place a bet. I don't think I'm going to win. I'm defending myself. You're doing an impression of me.
Not an impression. It was an exact replica.
Yeah, it was audio from my phone.
Where's the pork sausage? Guys, Victoria Dudakova, and let me be honest. If I had been a hater, yeah, I've been a hater. Ever since I watched her Contender Series fight, I said, this girl ain't it, man. This girl ain't it. And anything she's done up to this point has proven that she ain't it. Okay? You have a high-level wrestler, grappler, and Fatima Kline. You have Victoria Dudakova, who was taken down by a 40-year-old atom weight striker and controlled for how long in that round, Angelo?
I don't know. She won the fight.
Taken down and controlled for 4 fucking minutes against fucking Jinyu Frey. Minus 950. This girl is going to look minus 2,000, and I would not be surprised if she submits Victoria Dudakova inside of 3 fucking minutes, and your jaw's going to drop on the fucking floor, Angelo, and I can't wait for that fucking moment. She rolls this girl. Dudakova doesn't belong in the UFC, and it's going to look like it. She is fucking terrible.
She actually has wins in the UFC, unlike the minus 950 side.
She is terrible.
I completely disagree. I do think Fatima Kline is good. I genuinely think she's good, but I think the odds are nuts, dude. These are.
I have $200 on Fatima Kline, plus by submission plus 400 to win 800.
Remember when Bet Sam was in here talking about Navajo Sterling? This guy's the man. And remember when his odds inflated to obscene bullshit, and he's barely squeaking out a win? This could look like that. This could look like that.
You're a fucking idiot, dude.
Okay.
Controlled for 4 fucking minutes with Jinyu Frey. An atom weight.
Listen.
40 years old.
Jinyu Frey is good. Very good. Has been good for a very long time. Just lost her chin with age.
She laid there for 4 fucking minutes, and now she's up against a high-level wrestler and grappler. Good fucking
I'm not arguing Victoria's
easiest takedown I've ever seen. Just a nice single and dumped her, and Dudakova was like, oh, what do I do? Ow!
I do not think Victoria Dudakova wins this entire fight. I do think she can have some successful moments, potentially enough to win an entire round. And because of that,
she's getting smoked, guys.
I bet accordingly. $6,400 in DraftKings Fantasy to $9,800. The only way that $9,800 makes sense is if you're on the Jacob train here and you think Fatima immediately gets a takedown, potentially immediately gets a finish, and then finishes Victoria. Outside of that, paying for that salary is going to be a tall task if this goes to a decision. You will get much better odds at Bet Openly. If you do want to check out all the bets, we just gave you a few. I got bets on this fight. Jakey Boy's got bet on the fight. We also have a ton of future bets as well. I have bets all the way out to UFC Saudi Arabia. Check all of those out right now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's $10 a month.
I was singing that Latin.
So was I.
Make way for Prince Ali. Make way.
We just watched the live action one last night at my mother's house. It's good. I like it. I thought they did a great job with it.
I thought it was okay. I know that the Lion King remake, I haven't seen isn't there a newer one too? But
Mufasa. I didn't like the Lion King remake.
It's the exact movie, but just added a few parts that were funny. It literally is the exact same movie, and then they added a couple scenes that are great scenes.
Maybe it's because I don't like watching the death ones with the kids, because my girls cry every time. They just cry, hysterically cry.
Watch A Good Dinosaur.
They will cry
Literally
hysterically.
the
Yeah,
saddest. Dude, literally the sad. Have you seen it? Literally the saddest.
One
cartoon
time, then I'm
movie
like, I'm not watching this
I've
again.
ever watched in my life. I've ever watched in my life. It is so, and it's not even like. I mean, obviously it's sad, but they put it. I mean, they fucking hit you in the chest with that shit.
It's crazy because we go to the movies maybe once a month, once every 2 months, maybe. It depends if we only go for kids movies. And we went a couple months ago and they were doing previews for what's that robot? The Wild Robot. And it looks like a great movie. And I was like, you girls want to watch this? Because I love when they have a kids movie because I like going to the movies. And they're like, no, we're gonna cry. I was like, why? They're like, it just looks sad. And then the trailers got sad music, so at least they're self-aware enough to be like, nah, it's gonna make me cry. I'm not watching this shit. So good for them.
Sounds soft.
They are. They're little girls. Next up, at UFC Vegas 101, we got Magomed Gadzhiyasulov taking on Bruno Lopes. Magomed Gadzhiyasulov, 9-0, undefeated in that career. He does have 5 stoppages. He's taking on Bruno Lopes, 13-1 in his career. 4-1 in his last 5. He's making his official UFC debut. This is a good matchup. It's a fun matchup. And for some reason, these odds have not exploded. I expected Magomed to become a tremendous favorite here, but this has remained...
Doesn't surprise me.
This has remained nice and tight. But we got Magomed Gadzhiyasulov. He is a well-rounded guy, solid striking, solid wrestling. He invests in the body early. He'll throw kicks out there, straight punches, and then he'll work the head. He can take some time to find his rhythm, so he's not the fastest starter in the world. But when he does, he's got some very real power. He's not just a striker. He does a nice job sneaking in some takedowns when he needs them. Takedown defense, however, kind of sucks. But if he ends up on top, he's got good pressure and he is solid. He's coming off that UFC debut win over Preston Ribeiro, where he had 5 offensive takedowns. He's taking on Bruno Lopes, forward pressure striker. He has no problem just pumping volume and staying busy. He starts technical. He throws in combinations, but he can get sucked into a slug fight where he starts just winging from his hips. He's a solid grappler as well with decent takedowns, heavy top pressure, good ground and pound. And 2-1 favorite here for Magomed, and that makes some sense because his takedown defense does suck. So that's probably what's keeping these odds tight. But the takedown offense is there, and I think that's all he's going to need here. Lopes got that good BJJ, but mostly off top, not off his back. And as soon as Lopes gets crazy on the feet, Magomed's going to lower his level, get the fight to the ground, wail away, and get it done. Magomed Gadzhiyasulov is going to be the pick here, and I think 2-1 odds are favorable, honestly. What are we fake laughing at? The kid wearing the heart costume is going to call me names and make fun of me and laugh at me.
How's my...
What's up?
Got the beard lined up. How's that looking? People are liking the beard. There's a few comments on the quick pick video about the beard. People like the beard.
Did you mention it? Were they
No,
unprovoked?
And that was before it was even trimmed. But now it's all trimmed up, looking. Where's your beard?
I didn't shave for 6 days, and I just shaved before this.
Are those hold on a second.
What?
Back up just a touch. Are we seeing cheekbones, Angelo?
I've done nothing but eat. The last 2 months, I've probably gained 15
cheekbones
pounds.
poking out, huh?
I've gained considerable weight over the last 2 months.
I was trying to be nice, but you're right. I mean, it doesn't. You can definitely tell. You can definitely tell you're not. Sorry.
I'm wishing we weren't heading to Vegas right after a holiday break. Woo! That ain't great. Why don't you give us your opinion on this fight?
This is a situation where I feel like Magomed, you kind of mentioned the wrestling, and I'm glad he has that in his back pocket. I honestly, if he comes in and forces the wrestling, I think that's a mistake because if he starts getting tired, Bruno Lopes, I think, is going to be a little bit more live on the ground than on the feet. And he is, good with the jiu-jitsu. He's got, I think more submission wins than knockout wins, even though he's kind of known as like a knockout guy. But I think rolling around while Bruno Lopes is fresh early is going to be a mistake. If I'm Magomed, I come in kind of like he did his Contender Series fight, and I just kind of stay at range with the kicks, the long rangy type strikes, and stay out of firefights because Bruno Lopes, in my opinion, wins this with either a weird submission, when they're scrambling around when he's fresh, or if there's a firefight, he does have power in his hands. But if you stay at range and stay out of his power, you can land shots from range and hurt this guy. I mean, he got knocked out in his first Contender Series fight. His next one, he got dropped again. I mean, this guy is getting dropped left and right. And I think if you're Magomed, you just take your time, point from the outside. Eventually, he's going to give you an opportunity to land a shot. If you land a shot pretty clean, I think you can knock this guy down and maybe finish him. So I wouldn't force the wrestling unless you need it. But it's good to know that he has it in his back pocket. And it's also good to know that we've seen him in rangy fights. His last 2 fights went the distance where, I think 5 or 6 of his 7 regional fights were all first round finishes. So there were kind of some question marks there, but now he can kind of win a grindy fight, even though he's got a lot of finishes too. So I'm going Magomed. He should win. And I put him kind of in like a should win parlay.
I'm with you, man. I do think he gets it done. I wish he had better takedown defense. Obviously that's a bit of a pain in the ass. But outside of that, I think we're good. I think we can be safe here. People going wild in this comment section. There's this one dude who came on here, begged us to follow his Facebook page, which we did, and now despises because I said Sirius sucks. It's unbelievable.
He does kind of suck.
Don't tell this dude. Then he started saying the N-word, so banned. Can't do that shit. Anyway, I'm on your side. I agree that Magomed should win. I think the odds are solid. I think there's actually value in the minus 200 because the odds are just indicative of this person's chances to win the fight. I do agree it could be more of a staring contest than a forward pressure, grapple heavy type fight. Therefore, I am going to avoid the $8,800 in DraftKings Fantasy. I'm not going to spend that money because he could end up scoring 70 points in a win just staring at each other. So say good job. I'll say, oh, thank you so much, and then we'll move on.
I wouldn't listen.
All right. Well, if you do want to unlock all the picks, the bets, sounds like Jacob and I both have bets on Magomed here. You can check those out now at WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. It's freaking $10 an entire month, and we now have an app that will give you all the picks, the bets, the tools, and everything else inside of it. Next up, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. I got a phone call, and Mac always gets weird when I get the phone call.
Hey, man, it's okay.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Okay. Next up, at UFC Vegas 101, we have Ernesta taking on Nicolle Caliari. Kareckaite. It's not carrot cake. Okay. Ernesta Kareckaite, 5-1 in her career. Still early. 3-1-1 in her last 5. She's coming off that controversial loss to Diani Barbosa, taking on Nicolle. Nicolle's a plus 220 underdog, but she has far more experience at 10-2 in her career. 4-1 in her last 5, riding a 4-fight win streak into her UFC debut. Ernesta Kareckaite, solid striker, great footwork, fast hands, solid head movement. She throws punches and combinations instead of one at a time, and she can dance her way to a win. She does not have a ton of power, so she typically needs to fight a perfect 15 minutes to get it done. She is long. She used that length pretty well in striking exchanges, but not as well defending takedowns or working her way up. She's coming off that loss to Diani Barbosa in her UFC debut that a lot of people feel should have gone her way. She's taking
bullshit.
Was that the week? Wait. Was that the week she was the lock of the week where you had the fucking bubble machine, all that crap?
No, unfortunately not.
Mm-hmm. Nicolle Caliari, busy grappler, will take her time striking before closing the distance. She will work you to the cage and then try to drag you to the ground. Takedowns are not very good, but she does have very nice clinch work and body work. She not only ties you up, but she also launches knees and then works. When she gets you to the ground, she's very aggressive in the transitions. She wastes absolutely no time working to side control, mount, or other dominant positions. The issue, though, can be she's literally too aggressive and oftentimes will lose positions entirely because she's just so trigger happy and chasing. I want to pick Nicolle because of what's her name? What's her name? What are we laughing at? I was about to say carrot cake, karaki. You were going to correct me. Jesus Christ. We haven't done a show together in 3 weeks. We've lost any chemistry we had whatsoever.
What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. I was laughing because you were like, I want to pick Nicolle, and it's like, I know what you want. That's why I started laughing, because you paused. I was like, yeah, I know. Dirty dog.
No, I paused. I said I want to pick Nicolle because of.
Oh, Billy.
And then I was hoping you were going to say Kareckaite's whatever takedown defense, because Nicolle's offensive takedowns are actually not good enough. Is the problem? If Nicolle had better offensive takedowns, that would be a great underdog pick. I think she would come forward, get those takedowns because Ernesta doesn't defend as well, and we'd be smooth sailing to an underdog win. However, Nicolle's takedowns are not as good as they probably need to be. I think Ernesta uses that length, uses that reach, keeps his fight at distance, and just point fights her way to victory. So Ernesta's going to be a pick, but this can be an interesting fight, and maybe that plus 3.5 on Nicolle will make some sense here, because she has one round where she gets the takedowns and she makes something happen. That'll look good for us. This will definitely go to a decision, so you can try to find some value there, maybe the plus 3.5 if you think it's closer than the odds indicate. But Ernesta's my pick, but I don't trust her enough to even look at the minus 260. What do you think, Heart Sweater Jacob?
Yeah, guys, you need to pay attention here. You need to listen to me, because this is a Brazilian female, and I've seen the pictures too. I've been on the gram, inside and out, forwards and backwards, and I get it, guys. But you gotta listen to me, because how many times have I picked against a beautiful Brazilian, which Nicolle is? I get it, right? It seems, doesn't it, Angelo? It seems like every time I pick against one of these beautiful Brazilians, I'm right, because it's so hard for me. And I promise you guys, from the bottom of my heart, when I started going through her Instagram, I said, oh, it would be really fun to make a lock of the week video for her. Huh? And I literally said to myself, so then before I even watched her fight, I thought, I want to make her my lock of the week. And I was literally watching her tape and watching her fight, looking for reasons to make her lock of the week so I could make a video for her to send it to her and be like, hey, you know what I mean? And what I saw was no bueno. Okay? Angela, you know no bueno?
No, what does that mean?
What I saw was Nicolle is Hannah Goldie, right? A muscle mommy, right? Looking good in there. Has all. That was good, huh? Like that?
Muscle mommy, yeah.
She liked that? That was a little giggle from Big Angel.
It wasn't a giggle. It was a laugh.
Yeah, so she's a little bit of, she is a muscle mommy, and I get it, and she looks like a big, strong, powerful girl that's going to grab Ernesta and throw her to the ground and submit her, but she fights like Hannah Goldie as well, and you watch her striking. I mean, Hannah Goldie and her are just hands up, elbows out, just kind of, just like, there's no, jab, there's no setup, there's no head movement with combos and uppercuts. It is very stiff striking, and she is a striker. She can do stuff on the ground, but she's not a wrestler. She doesn't really shoot takedowns, doubles, singles. If she gets you in a body lock, she's going to try and maybe drag you to the ground. But against Ernesta, who's a 125er, and is probably going to have a 5, 6, 7, 8 inch or a height advantage on this girl, you can't just pick up these tall girls and throw them to the ground, even if they get in the clinch. I think Nicolle is going to struggle mightily with the range in this fight. And Ernesta, in my opinion, Diane Barbosa is 10 times the fighter Nicolle is. And as you mentioned, I mean, Ernesta arguably won that fight. And she was taken down early. We survived that submission. We know she's tough as shit, and she has cardio for fucking days. And I just think she keeps that range and pumping strikes and overwhelms Nicolle. Couldn't even find a finish, in my opinion. But that's how much I think Nicolle can get beat up on the feet against a sharp striker. I will say, to sum it up, I pick Ernesta. I bet Ernesta. Then I went on her Instagram, and I saw that her training partner is that terrible chick that lost to Melissa Mullins. Remember, I was like, she is like the worst fight I've ever seen. That's like her main training partner. So I saw that, and I was like, oh, God. But I do like Ernesta in this.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, do you think that plus 3.5 would make some sense for Nicolle? She could steal around, being strong and
I think this is much better than the Dudakova one, because she does get strong fence. I mean, she should be at one. I mean, she should be at 115. She is going to be tiny in there. I know she's strong and shit, but sometimes just pure size is a little bit too much. So I mean, maybe, but I think Ernesta. I mean, Ernesta does not fucking stop, and if she's
she's
girl
good.
Up,
Yeah,
I mean, eventually there's only when you're against the fence. When she's against the fence, it's not like cover up and look for counter. She literally just. It's crazy. I think she could be in trouble.
Yeah, it should be, I don't know. It should be, I think it's going to be somewhat competitive here. Ernesta is very, very good. My only issue is the takedown defense.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. But it is crazy. The fluidity, you can tell she's a fucking natural athlete because the fluidity in her striking looks like she's been doing it since she was a kid. I know she's still young, but she's been a swimmer her whole life. And just like, I'm just going to start doing MMA. And it looks like she's been fucking boxing a long time. Yeah.
Well, we have DraftKings fantasy pricing. We got the question from Nolian Pazik. What does 9,277,000 represent? It's DraftKings fantasy. See the little D with the crown, the word fantasy under it? You basically have a salary of $60,000. You use that money to draft fighters. You have to do 6 fighters. You have $50,000. Sorry, 50,000. And you have to do 6 fighters with that money. And then you take that lineup of 6 fighters that you drafted within your budget and you compete against other people who have done the same thing. And if you're good, you make some money. We have a full suite of DraftKings fantasy tools. We have an optimizer that'll build lineups for you, do the drafting piece. We have a whole breakdown of the cards and who you should consider, who you should not. If we're looking at this fight, $9,200 for $7,000. Nicolle's not awful at $7,000. If there is success there with the grappling, she can score pretty well here. I think Ernesta is not worth the $9,200 because while I do think she probably wins this fight, I don't think there's a finish. I think it's just busy, distance striker.
Yeah, it's a flyer finish, and you don't want that for $9,200.
No, it's a lot of money to spend. On a 14-fight card, you have 28 fighters to choose from. So I wouldn't spend that side, but if you've got, if you've got a couple lineups going, or if you're using the optimizer, set the exposure setting to Nicolle and definitely get some.
Say something about exposing Nicolle.
Get some of that in your lineup. Anyway, if you want to check out the DraftKings optimizer, all the DraftKings tools, but also the bets, the picks, not just for this event, but UFC 311 and UFC Saudi Arabia, you can do so now. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. It's freaking $10 a month. $10. You're going to get multiple events. Best in the business. Next up, at UFC Vegas 101, we have another new addition to this fight card. We have Jacobe Smith stepping up on short notice to take on Preston Parsons. Preston was already on this card. He lost his opponent, and Jacobe is making his official UFC debut. He is undefeated in his career, and as I mentioned, stepping up on short notice. He's taking on Preston Parsons, 11-5 in his career, 2-3 in his last 5. He is alternating wins and losses. We'll start on the Jacobe side. He's the newer addition here. He is a Dana White Contender Series standout. He's getting his official UFC shot here. He's a nasty wrestler who can strike. His striking is not great technique-wise, but it's very fast, and he has some very real power. When he gets the takedowns, he's got great pressure, great hips. He's always working. He sets a really good pace. He's always looking for a finish, either on the feet or on the ground. He's a well-rounded guy, but very early in his career, and we haven't really seen him in any adversity-type situations just yet. Taking on Preston Parsons. Very slick grappler. He has 9 submissions and 11 wins. He's a BJJ black belt who moves forward aggressively, throwing big shots to set up takedowns. While he is a dangerous grappler, he can be a bit clueless when he can't get the grappling going. Historically, he has been takedown or bust. In his last fight I've mentioned before, he managed to do both. He got a takedown and still lost. Breaking down prospects like Jacobe is always a little tricky because he obviously looks like a stud. And I'm going to pick him here. I think he gets it done, right? He's got power in his hands. He's got good wrestling. As long as the submission defense is there, he should be good. But all we have is to go off the destruction of regional guys. So I don't know what it's going to look like when he fights somebody like Preston. Preston's a very good fighter. Preston's a UFC level fighter. He has proven that he can compete in the UFC. Jacobe hasn't quite proven that yet. So I don't know what this is going to look like. I don't know what's going to happen if Preston gets Jacobe in trouble, if this somehow goes long, because we've never seen Jacobe in trouble. With all of that being said, I think Jacobe gets the takedowns, bombs away, makes it happen. I think he absolutely wins this fight. I think there's upside for a decision with a bunch of takedowns. I think there's finish upside. People are going to question Jacobe's cardio. Like, oh, he seemed to slow down in the Contender Series. So what? So what? He still won that fight. He seemed to slow down. You're just looking for things to be worried about. I think Jacobe Smith gets it done here. He's the pick. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, well, he didn't seem to slow down. I mean, he definitely was slowing down. He was definitely flat-footed to start that second round, and those takedowns a little bit more sloppy, definitely, than they were. But it's come to expected, right? You're not going to be as crisp as you were in the first round, especially with the pace that he sets, because he is fucking nonstop. I mean, he is going to be on you no matter what you try to do. If you're trying to scramble, whatever it is. But to me, that's what Preston Parsons has to do, because if you, against a guy like Jacobe, who is an unbelievably high-level wrestler and does some stuff in there that I've never seen. I mean, that little takedown, kick the knee in, I mean, that was fucking insane if you didn't see his Contender Series fight. Some of the takedowns as well, but he is very high-level, but, when you're in there with somebody like that, you can't just be on your back, and you can't just stall against the fence, because this isn't a control wrestler, right? We mentioned Jason Nurullo early in their card. He's kind of a grindy, Khabib type of wrestler, where Jacobe Smith is going to be, I mean, he's trying to elbow you. Even his Contender Series fight, which is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. He literally put a gash directly in the back of the head of a guy. I mean, elbowed him directly in the back of the head, and there's not even a point. It's like, if you're gashing, that should be a point. Like, it's very clear that that was very legal. Right? Yeah, literally, a gash started bleeding, and I think Paul Felder was like, I mean, his head's bleeding. Like, it was clearly in the back of the head, but it was just like, don't do it again. But I mean, the point is, he is a ground and pound type of guy. He is going to be elbowing you any chance you get. So if you're Preston Parsons, you're probably going to get taken down. You shouldn't feel bad about it. This guy's a very high-level wrestler, but you have to make this guy work. Because if you make these wrestlers work, especially short notice, when you already saw him kind of get a little bit slowed down to start the second round of a round that he basically, I mean, there was a little bit of getting back up and takedowns, but he controlled a lot of that round. You have to make this guy work, and you have to trust that your cardio, being ready for this fight, he was already preparing for like a very grindy type guy. You have to trust your cardio. So if you get taken down to the first round, you got to be scramble, scramble, scramble. This guy's not really a submission threat. He's more of a ground and pound, so you can take chances in the scramble, give up your neck, give up some positions that you normally wouldn't. Have to make this guy work and hope that you can get to the second round. And if this does get to the second round and Preston Parsons isn't like beat up with elbows and stuff, I think Preston Parsons is going to dog this shit out. No matter how that first round looks, maybe he's taken down 6-7 times. He's up, he's down, he's up, he's down, he's up, he's down. If he doesn't really take a bunch of damage, he gets that second round, I think he can start out-scrambling Jacobe Smith with his gas tank, and he obviously knows how to grapple as well. And then if there's a situation where you have a tired wrestler in there that doesn't really have a backup plan, that's like worst-case scenario, especially against a guy that is a high-level grappler as well. So if there's a situation where he starts gassing and Preston gets on him, gets a body lock on him, whoo! Bad news. I'm going with a little bit of a flyer here. Disclaimer, he was going to be my lock of the week versus Gustafsson. I like Preston Parsons, but I'm going to pick him. I think he can dog this shit out second and third round if he can get there, and I think he can get there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's definitely the more experienced of the two.
He's a better striker, too. Not that I don't think it matters. I think
technique-wise, yeah. Jacoby's got insane speed and power, but yeah,
he doesn't have insane. I mean, he just throws heavy shots like a wrestler against regional guys.
And they're fast and powerful.
They're not that fast. It's kind of telegraphed.
They're very fast. See? So fast.
Did you see I actually had my cut? If we could actually, let's go back to the first breakdown. We got to redo this. It was on backwards.
Fucking moron, dude. Or you could just take it off and wear regular clothes.
I saw the tag and I was like, is there like a face on the other side? But it's like a little glare.
Are you going to wear some dumb shit to the Apex on Saturday? If you guys didn't watch the opening of this video, we will be there in person. I think I'm just going to wear a Hayabusa hoodie and a Young LA hat. You got to rep the brand. So I'm not dressing to impress.
I think they have a little travel bag for that blow-up costume. Dude, imagine, because where we this fight, the last time I went to not the last time Apex fight, but Amanda in her last fight against Rose was the A side. So the A side is the only side that comes out like the Contender Series, those big double doors they open up or wherever they start walking down the whatever. The A side of the main event's the only people that come out of that. Everyone else comes out where you can just stand, like literally from me to you. Well, I guess I can, what I'm talking about. But, I mean, you can just stand right there and they all come out. So imagine Amanda comes out getting ready. I said, fucking come the fucking thing. And she's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, Amanda! And this fucking blow-up fucking costume. Oh, God.
Well, and then also one time you went, security was like, should we let him in? He might be Amanda's stalker.
Yeah, if you guys haven't heard that story, do you want me to tell that story right now?
Go for it. We got time, man.
If you guys didn't know, I was able to, after I went to the Apex, I met Amanda for the second time or whatever. And then I reached out. I was like, do you want to do an interview sometime? She was like, yeah. So I did an interview with Amanda. And after the interview was over, she said, I have to tell you something. When I got to Vegas for my fight with Rose, there was somebody was saying that they were an Apex employee or something, and that they were there to marry her. I can't remember what she said. So it was definitely like a stalker type situation that they were worried about. So they assigned her like a 24-hour detail, like just in case, like this guy is like fucking weird or whatever. And when I showed up at the Apex with a shirt of her, with the shirt of her on, they fucking thought I was the stalker. And I'm pretty sure what she said is I think they took a picture of me and went into the back where she was and showed her. And was like, is this the guy, or is this guy good or whatever? And she's like, no, you can let him. That's not the stalker. That's the second stalker, you know?
Yeah.
So I literally was flagged by security because they thought I was the stalker when I went to
that
the
ridiculous
Apex.
shirt. I mean, it is something a stalker would do.
Yeah.
There's two types: the one that killed Selena, or like the quiet in the shadows kind.
I don't know those references, but
You don't know the Selena story?
I don't know any of those references, but
she's a famous Mexican singer.
And Amanda, by the way, thought it was the funniest shit in the world that they thought
It
I
is
was
funny.
the stalker.
Yeah, it is funny.
She was dying laughing when she told me that. I was like, they thought I was. I go. They thought I was the stalker, and she was like, yeah.
That's funny. Well, Selena, very quickly, is there's a movie that Jennifer Lopez was in called Selena. She was a huge Mexican superstar singer, and the head of her fan club killed her. So like her biggest fan turned on her and killed her. Almost like that dude in here that's furious at my breakdown of Siri Saidi months later that said, I ripped up all my WWP stuff. I was the biggest fan in the world until Angelo apologizes about what he said about Siri Saidi.
Stan.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Angelo said Angelo's breakdown of Siri Saidi was different than what I think of Siri Saidi. I now hate him. Months later, bringing it up in a live chat. Some people's brains. Next up, at UFC Vegas 101, we have a fight that is surprisingly early on the fight card. We got Thiago Moises taking on Trey Ogden in what could be a grappler's delight on both sides. We got Thiago Moises, 18-8 in his career. He is 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off that loss to Ludovic Kline. What are you laughing at?
Someone said, I threw away my Angelo body pillow.
Where'd you find a dumpster big enough? Angelo's fat. Beat you to it. Now you can't do it. We got Trey Ogden on the other side. Trey Ogden, 18-6 in his career. 3-1-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that underdog. Please don't come back with some dumbass outfit. That underdog win. Thiago Moises, tried and true at this point. Very slick grappler. Does a really good job staying dangerous while being composed. Meaning, if he gets a fight to the ground, he'll keep the position. And he's still working for submissions, but he's not going wild. He's not losing it entirely. He's primarily a grappler who averages about 2 takedowns per fight. He does have some technical striking. He can hang with most people. He'll use those low kicks to set up takedowns. Surprisingly young, given his experience. You run through his resume, he's fought a who's who, and he's only, 31? Something like that. We'll see in the next slide here. He's taking on Trey Ogden. Trey Ogden's an athletic grappler. Solid takedowns, decent power in his hands. He is absolutely a grappler, but if you run through the fight tape, you do the research, you do the tape study, use our tools for the tape index, you'll see that there have been many occasions where he gets a submission, but he dropped the person with his hands first. So there is some power in there, and he can strike. His takedowns are really well timed. He does a good job lowering his level, shooting blast doubles, and running.
I'm big hands.
You fucking loser, bitch.
Oh, big hands.
Fucking
Son of a $10 a month. $10 a month. $10 a month.
You're a fucking asshole. What an absolute fucking asshole, man. He's a 5'8" ginger. Okay? I'll be 6'3" and a little heavy. I'll take that any day of the week. 6'3" and a little heavy, or a 5'8" ginger. Which would you rather be? Those are your choices. I can lose the weight. Your best chance is just for men and some lifts. Ass clown. That derailed my whole thought process here. I think Trey Ogden can win this fight. I think Trey Ogden has been evolving quite nicely. I think Trey Ogden can get the takedowns. I think Trey Ogden can control some of the grappling exchanges. I think Trey Ogden has shown us that he can be a bit of a dog. Thiago Moises is far more accomplished. Thiago Moises is probably the better fighter. If you break down each individual piece and tie it together into a fighter, he's got more experience. His grappling is certainly more dangerous. But I think Trey is the better wrestler. And I think if he can come forward, get the takedowns, control, I don't see Thiago submitting Trey Ogden, not in 2025. So I think Trey Ogden can sneak this out and get it done. I've got a little bit of a bet on Trey Ogden as well. I got him at plus 145. These odds have been bouncing all over the place, up and down. But that's where I stand. What do you think?
Did you even mention that your odds are available?
Oh, I did not mention that. Damn it.
After this breakdown, you can't.
Oh, God, I should have made a slide.
Yeah,
Fucking
that was
shit. Damn it. Damn it.
Let me just say this. I was definitely a Trey Ogden hater. We got another Apex story for you. I picked Kurt Holloway. I can't remember if I bet. I don't think I bet Kurt Holloway, but I was pretty vocal about Kurt Holloway being able to beat Trey Ogden. I just thought he was going to be able to out-grapple. While Trey kind of had the wrestling advantage, I just thought the jiu-jitsu was going to be high-level enough. And Trey Ogden absolutely neutralized that. I said it was an Apex story because I was very vocal in that fight. As you guys know, when I'm at the Apex, I get very vocal during the fights.
I legit am worried I'm going to be embarrassed.
And I was... well, if you're busy. I was literally like, and not like in a mean way, but I'm like definitely rooting for Kurt. Like, come on, Kurt, he's nothing. He's got nothing for you. You know, that type of rooting.
Not in a mean way. He's nothing.
He's a bum. He's a bum. But literally, like that type of, but obviously, you know, I'm trying to fire up the fighter that I want to win or whatever. And the fight ends or whatever. And obviously, Trey did a great job and pretty much dominated that fight, the wrestling and the grappling. And I think that plays a big part in this fight. But after it got done, the people next to me were saying something about, I can't remember how it got brought up or whatever. And they were talking about the fight. And I was like, yeah, I was really hoping Kurt was going to win. They're like, oh, yeah, we were rooting for Trey. And I was like, oh, that's cool. He's like, we're Trey's parents. I was sitting right next to Trey Ogden's parents. They're like, yeah, that's Trey Ogden's our son. I was like, I go, oh my God. I felt so bad. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I just wanted, you know, I don't really care. And they're like, no, it's fine. Like, it's fine. We get it or whatever. And I was like, I told him, I was like, he looked fucking great. And when I break down a guy like Trey Ogden, when you watch him fight, there's moments where you're like, what is this guy? And then there's moments of almost brilliance in his takedowns, the timing of his takedowns, and his control when he's on top of people. I actually reached out to Nicolas Mata, friend of the channel now, right? I picked him as my lock of the week. I reached out to Nicolas Mata because he fought Trey Ogden. There was the no contest with the non-submission, stuff like that. But I asked him, like, what makes Trey Ogden weird? And he was like, you know, this guy just kind of avoids car crashes, right? And that's kind of what you need in fights to hurt a guy. And I kind of brought it up to him. I was like, to me, it seems like Trey Ogden always fights at his own pace. He doesn't try to match pace. He doesn't give a fuck about what the other person's going to do. He's going to bide his time, right? If he's getting beat up a little bit, he's getting beat up, but he's going to wait to get that takedown, to time that takedown. And Nicolas Mata was like, that's exactly right. He literally just does his own thing and doesn't worry about what you're doing. And I think that's one of his biggest assets, right? He's just in the striking. He's just going to pump the jab out there. He's not looking at big shots to knock you out, do things. He's just going to keep the jab on you. He's going to keep that pressure. He's going to time some takedowns. And if he gets the takedowns, he's shown he's got some really high level control at this point in his career. So I like Trey Ogden here as the dog. I think he can just, you know, I think he can jab his way to a victory. I know a lot of people probably think it's takedown or bust, but I think in the striking, he can just keep the range with the jab. But if he's getting the takedowns, he's definitely going to win this fight, and I think he can get those takedowns. So I'm on Trey Ogden here, and I feel pretty good about it.
Dude, him beating Loic Radzhabov in his last fight was an incredible win. That's a great win, dude. Loic is good.
Right, and you know what's funny about that, too? And I don't think that he was bringing some crazy pressure. I don't think Thiago's not really like a pressure guy, so I think he's going to be able to stay at range and find what he needs. But if you watch, this is what real men do, okay, and I mentioned in Discord, is you watch like the beginning of that second round of the Trey Ogden-Loic fight and still bet Trey Ogden. Because there was like a minute and a half where he's just getting pressured against the fence and his hands aren't even like this. They're like kind of up and he's getting hit and he kind of looks like he's just kind of running away and stuff. And it's like, Trey, is this guy about to fucking like give up? Like but he just, like I said, he just kind of stays in his own zone. He doesn't get overwhelmed. And then all of a sudden it's just, whoop, level change, Loic's down, and then he just wins the round. It's like, Jesus,
four
man.
takedowns.
He doesn't get overwhelmed. If you pressure him, he's just going to time a takedown and get it in control. So I like Trey.
No, I've been. He's been quietly putting together some really nice wins and stringing all this.
He just always winning. Well, it's crazy. Like
honestly, it is crazy.
Nobody
gives him credit. Yeah.
Right. And it sounds bad, but every time I watch him, I'm like, how does this guy? And then he just fucking just always wins. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna ride that train.
There you go. Well, Jakey Boy and I both on the underdog here. $8,300 in DraftKings Fantasy versus $7,900. I will shoot my shot on that $7,900 because A, he's the more affordable fighter, and B, I think he gets the takedowns. If you do want to check out all the picks, the bets, the tools, the DraftKings plays, every single freaking thing that we do, which is way more than we can list right here, you can do so now. Go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It's $10 for an entire month. That is multiple events worth of access. You can access every single thing from the web on a computer, from the web on your phone, or from the app. Go to the App Store, search We Want Picks, download the app. The full experience from the web is available on the app with push notifications. Check it all out now, WeWantPicks.com.
Let me tell the story.
Wait, hold on.
Don't say what it is, because I want to tell the story to say what it is.
Elias says, somebody said, why does he deal with Jacob? I think he only deals with Jacob's my friend in real life. Like real life, we were friends long before this channel. We'll be friends long after it. Unless he just embarrasses me so badly at the Apex.
Oh, I knew it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, God, I knew it. Have my heart.
Fucking loser.
All right, you want me to tell the story?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we have a fun little thing here that you guys can check, and I'll tell you what the story is. So I was going on Bet Online, and I was looking at the futures, right? Because I think it's fun just to throw some money at some futures or whatever, and just kind of going through. And then I realized while I'm looking at futures, I'm betting a few futures that my guy, the channel's guy. And by the way, go check out his vlog. He's doing a vlog coming up for his next fight is USAF's So I'm looking at all the futures. I'm like, I want to throw a couple bucks at USAF's at featherweight because he's about to fight the number 10 guy, and if he's an outside guy, top 10, if there's Ilya leaves the division and all of a sudden there's a couple turnovers, it's like he's got like a decent shot. Even if Ilya is still the champ, he's got that storyline, whatever. So if you go on Bet Online, you can like ask to add people. I did it with Amanda Ribas last year for the 115, and then she went to 125 and kind of fucked me out of $500 or something like that. But you can ask to add people, and they'll occasionally add people. So I asked them to add Yusuf, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll try to add Yusuf for you." And that was in Discord talking to people, and I was thinking, "Oh my God." What if I asked them to add me and I was able to bet on myself to be and what a storyline that would be. And I started typing in, can you add Jacob? And then I thought, oh my God, they know my name's Jacob. They're going to be like, why would he add you to the thing? So I was like, fuck, I can't add myself. And I was like, oh, I know who we can add. Big Angie boy. So I typed in the Bet Online little chat. I said, kind of an obscure name, but can I get some odds added for a heavyweight Angelo Bodetti to be the UFC champion at the end of 2025? And they were like, sure, we'll add it. And I didn't know if they were going to actually, because I assume they have to research a little bit to figure out the odds or whatever. But sure as shit, about a day and a half later, I refreshed the future odds. And if you go right now to Bet Online, you can bet on Angelo to be the heavyweight champion of the UFC at the end of 2025. It's absolutely incredible. And people started betting it. I mean,
the line moved. I bet it. I bet on myself.
I bet on you.
They capped me at $13.
yeah. I think they opened him at plus 8,000 odds, the same odds as Tai Tuivasa. I bet it. Angelo bet it. We bet it enough to trigger the odds to be locked. And when the odds get locked, it'll move his name up the list. So at one point, we had the screenshot. The odds for to be the UFC champion at the end of 2025 said Tom Aspinall at minus 120, whatever he is. Angelo Bodetti, but it says Bodette because they forgot your I. Angelo Bodetti locked odds, and then John Jones at plus 2, whatever. So literally the top 3 names for the heavyweight champion future bets on Bet Online was fucking Tom Aspinall, Angelo, and John Jones. Sandwiched between them.
Right now my odds are plus 7,500. I have better odds right now than Tai Tuivasa, who's plus 8,000. According to the sports books, I have more of a chance to become the UFC heavyweight champion this year than Tai Tuivasa does. Ride that train. Get your tickets, boys. I have so many screenshots. I bet on myself. I'm gonna print my bet slip and I'll put it in my office. It's pretty
so
cool.
Funny.
It's
and
stupid.
I think somebody was like, "Oh, the books are gonna get pissed." Like they just got free money. It's like
it's literally free money. Yeah. Why would they get mad? They just took $13 from me and whoever else did it. Yeah. Literally free money.
Well, I mean, you've been training.
Anything could happen. Not the last month, but yes. Next up, at UFC Vegas 101, we have Marco Tulio taking on Ihor Potieria in another fight with some very wide odds. This entire card has very wide odds fight. I don't think we have a single fight on this card that's close as far as the odds are concerned. Even the Santiago Ponzinibbio fight started to spread out. But anyway, Marco Tulio. 12-1 in his career, 5-0 in his last 5, making his UFC debut. Taking on Ihor Potieria, 21-7 in his career, only 1-4 in his last 5. He is riding back-to-back losses. Marco Tulio is a pretty good striker. He's a pretty solid grappler as well. Striking is diverse, good amount of power. His volume is solid, but it's not overwhelming, and that's because he takes his time at distance. He has no problem just working in some leg kicks. He's got some very good grappling as well, and then he can get the fight to the ground and then either ground and pound or hunt for a submission. He's taking on Ihor Potieria. Ihor Potieria is a pretty one-dimensional guy, all striker. Very loose striking style. Good power, good accuracy. He can be hittable because he keeps his hands really low and he relies on that chin. His takedown defense is not very good, but he does a good job of making you pay on the way in. There's an uppercut waiting. There's a knee. He is very dangerous, but also very finishable. He's coming off the decision loss to Cesar Almeida, where he tried to switch it up a little bit and worked in a couple of takedowns. Marco's going to be the pick here. This fight is set up for Marco to win. I think he wins. I think it's just that simple. He's got the power to hang. He certainly has the wrestling to change where this fight goes. Ihor has been trying to evolve, but I think it's a little too late. Marco's the pick. I think he gets it done. What are we laughing at now?
No, I was just I hadn't watched the replay of me earlier. If you guys are just joining, I had a different costume on at the beginning of the stream. I literally sitting here, I was like, let me see what that looked like me walking on screen. It's so funny. Listen, guys, this is serious. Marco Tulio, Angelo, I don't know if you know this, dating Nora Dumont.
Is he really? Damn,
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Unrelated. Unrelated. I'm actually picking Ihor Potieria in this fight. You know, it is definitely a flyer type situation, but I will address Ihor as this. And tell me if you agree. I don't know if you are going to agree or whatever, but Ihor is like a guy that if you just walked into a gym and he was just kind of off in the corner hitting mitts with somebody.
Yeah, you'd be like,
and
whoa.
You watched him just throwing those combinations. You'd be like, holy shit, that guy's fucking good. Because he is a really good boxer. I mean, he looks, at moments, the combinations, the way he throws shots is like a fucking big-ass Sean O'Malley, especially when he braids his hair. Like, he is that good and that crisp with his striking. And if you're just sitting there and he just hitting mitts, I bet he looks fucking fantastic. The issue is when you get in a fight, the mitts hit back, right? I mean, these are heavy hits, and he has shown that when people are hitting him back, he can't really withstand the power very well. I will say too, I know he's kind of had a rough go, right? Even though the results don't show it, I think he's improving. I think Ihor is
looking... Saw the takedowns in the last
fight. I think he really is improving and evolving as a fighter. I actually believe that he has a major speed advantage in this fight. Marco Tulio, to me, I know he's got knockouts and he's a powerful guy. And if he lands, he can probably knock out Ihor. And that's what the odds say should happen, right? You get a powerful guy, a chinny guy, boom, minus 500. But Ihor's landed some heavy shots with some real nice speed. And if Marco comes in, you know, those a cocky, good-looking, I'm dating fucking normal Dumont Brazilian and thinks he's just going to walk this guy down and knock him out, he can easily get caught with a counter. I like Ihor striking. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but sometimes speed is enough, and this dude's fucking fast as shit, and he lands on people. And if Marco starts getting landed on when he's not usually getting landed on, he might panic, throw some heavier shots, and get in one of those situations. So it's a flyer here. Has nothing to do with the but I'm going Ihor.
There you go. He can come in and get smoked like Dern's ex. Yeah.
Oh, no. Nicolle. But
yeah,
Vitor, I mean, the big, good-looking Brazilian Vitor too. You know, I don't know. We haven't been live since that card, I guess. But you know, what's funny about that too is that was Dustin Jacobe, who's at Factory X. And obviously I'm friends with some of the people at Factory X, and Cody Brunge was in his corner. And when they left, my seats were second row. And when the fighters walk out, they walk right by you, and you can walk in and say hi to people. So like when Yanez lost, I was like, hey man, you're all good. Like he came over, it's like, dude, I thought I had that. You know, it's like, Yanez, you're good to go. You don't have to fucking apologize to me, fucking buddy. You're fucking good to go. And he won that fight. I mean, he very clearly won that fight. I mean, that was a ridiculous decision. But Cody Brundage came up before Jacobe left, and I gave him, I dapped him up and gave a high five, and he pointed at my shirt. He said, that was for you. Because in my breakdown, I said I was worried about Amanda being around Vitor, being a good-looking Brazilian, and I had my Amanda shirt
I was wondering what that meant. I saw it in the vlog, and I was like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, he pointed. He's like, that was for you. Like, they knocked out Vitor for me because of the Amanda situation. So that was fun.
There you go. $9,600 in DraftKings Fantasy. Honestly, I mean, it may be worth it. Ihor is finishable. That is the problem. Because you're right. He's dangerous on his feet. He is evolving. We saw takedowns when he fought a high-level striker in his last fight.
I don't think he's a quitter. You know?
He's not a quitter. It just your chin does what your chin does. Like quitters turn their heads and just let the referee stop it. Mm. He's not a quitter. He just
in that one fight, he
fights with his hands low.
He should have got the win. He should have got that finish, and the fight goes on. He's just fucking exhausted. Just fucking.
No, Ihor is certainly better. He's certainly better than people give him credit for. And actually, these odds are not as insane as they could be. Because this could be people just look at it 1-4 in his last 5, and then go nuts, which they haven't really done. Anyway, Marco is my pick. Jakey Boy went on the other side, but very cautiously. $9,600 in DraftKings Fantasy.
It has nothing to do with Norman DeMont.
$9,600 in DraftKings Fantasy. I'll take a closer look. I think it could potentially be worth it, just with the way Ihor fights with his hands low and all of that. But if you want to check out the official bets, the picks, and everything else that we offer, the tools, the insight, the tape study, the artificial intelligence, the app, the revamped website, WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. It's only $10 an entire month. Next up, at UFC Vegas 101, we have Jose Johnson taking on Felipe Bunes. I do have a bet on this fight, and I've got some pretty good odds. Yeah, Bunes. Jose Johnson, 16-9 in his entire career. He is 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that wrestle-heavy loss to Asu Almabayev. He's taking on Felipe Bunes, 13-7 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that TKO loss in his UFC debut. Jose Johnson is an insanely long Muay Thai striker, quite literally the longest flyweight ever in the history of the UFC, and he does use that length really well. He likes to come forward, control the center with some speed and range. Versatile striking, he'll use the teep clicks, he'll use that clinch work, fire those knees up from all the way a mile away, and some traditional boxing. He does not have very good takedown defense at all. Takedown offense, maybe a trip or two. But if he is taken down, he'll use the ridiculously long limbs and try to tie you up and make something happen. He is coming off of that loss to Asu Almabayev, where he had a few moments of grappling success where things looked a little close, but ultimately couldn't defend the takedowns, therefore did not win the fight. Taking on Felipe Bunes, a BJJ black belt with some slick submissions. He's always looking for something on the ground. He's pretty fast. He's got good transitions, good scrambles. He's not a BJJ nerd. He'll engage on the feet, and then he'll shoot actual proper adult man takedowns. He loves throwing straight rights. He loves throwing overhands. He'll transition from there into a takedown. If you take him down, he's going to be going crazy, prepared to defend a submission. He is coming off that loss to Josh Van in his UFC debut, where he had a pair of takedowns before getting finished. Jose Johnson is long. He is scary. He's got good jiu-jitsu, good striking, but he does not have good wrestling. He cannot defend takedowns. All of the losses in his career essentially are in some way or another related to not being able to defend takedowns. I think it is very plausible that Felipe comes in here, gets takedowns, and stays safe on top. I'm going to go as far as picking Felipe Bunes. I threw a half a unit on him at plus 175. He is now plus 160 unless you go to bet openly, so I got a little bit of value there. But I'm just going to trust the wrestling. And that's the breakdown. What do you think, Jakey Boom Balatz? And what the hell were you laughing at? Guys, I'm typing as I'm talking. I'm going to fart again and see if you can hear this one. It's going to be a good one. 1 second. Let me get it loaded. This was Jacob. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Bet Sam said Jacob farted so hard it blew his eyebrows off.
I've nothing ever but nice to Sam. Like, you should hear what Angelos says about you, about how he talks about you and stuff, I'm always like, hey, listen, Sam's a friend, man. Sam's a great guy. I like Sam, right? Be honest. That was obviously a joke, but be honest. How many times have I told you I like Sam?
Yeah, you said he seems like a good dude.
Like a number.
But I don't shit on him. You make it sound like I shit on him.
No, I said that was a joke. But being seriously, I always say, like, I like Sam. Like, Sam's great. I like it. Right. I like Sam. So
why don't you tell us about this fight?
Yeah, that was a pretty good breakdown. This is a for me, this is kind of a weird breakdown, right? Because there's, when you're breaking down fights, there's X's and O's, there's numbers, there's analytical data, there's all sorts of stuff. And then sometimes you just kind of get a feeling, right? Kind of, might start like kind of back of the knee, and then it starts itching up, the back thigh area. And then
that last fart that dried out. Getting a little itchy, a little scratchy. Wetter than you thought it was going to be, but you're doing the show, so you let it dry out.
You're the one farting, Angelo. You're the one that
No, I'm
that.
here doing a breakdown, and you're vigorously passing gas. You're flatulent and just rustling around that ridiculous outfit to try to cover it up. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So sometimes you get a feeling while breaking down fights.
Sometimes you just get a feeling. When I watched that fight versus Joshua Van, what I didn't see was a quitter in Felipe Bunes. Now, he started getting beat up in the second round, but he was trying to fight through that. And obviously, Angela, you know more than anybody the way I was working, your dumbass, that sometimes the body shots, sometimes you can't help body shots, right? Some people have good chin. You can punch them in the face 1,000,000 times and they won't fucking budge. But you start eating those body shots and it really breaks you down. But I saw a man that was really trying to work through that situation. And everyone loves fucking Joshua Van. This guy won the first round versus Joshua Van. He was doing enough in the striking. He's a long-rangey striker himself. Not as long as fucking Jose Johnson, but he is a long-rangey striker in his own right. Nice technical down the pipe. I'm surprised, honestly, the way that he strikes. That he doesn't have more. He doesn't have a single TKO or a knockout on his record because he strikes pretty well. Nice tight Muay Thai striking. But as Angelo mentioned, it should be the offensive wrestling. He got Joshua Van to the ground. You saw Cody Dern, he showed how hard that is. He's able to get him to the ground, control him a little bit. As you mentioned, Jose Johnson kind of resorts to winning scrambles. And I think that's a tough ask versus a guy that's high level on the ground like Felipe Bunes. So Jose Johnson's probably there might be some scrambles early to get out of situations, but, as long as Felipe Bunes doesn't gas, which he could, right? I think that he's going to, was that dramatic or it's pretty good?
Yeah.
I think he's going to be able to pull out this fight. Maybe a decision, maybe a late submission or something like that. But I just think as Andrew, I think he just kind of out-wrestles him. But I haven't bet him yet. I probably will once we get to Vegas. But, it's kind of just kind of got a feeling about Bunes. I think he's going to work hard. I think he felt bad about that. I think he's going to work hard for this one.
There you go. Jacob and I both on the same side. This is the second good size underdog on this card that we both agree on. Impressive stuff. Real impressive stuff. $8,600 in DraftKings Fantasy on the Jose Johnson side, $7,600 on the Felipe side. What I'll say is, whatever side you're on, they're probably worth the money. If Felipe wins this fight, it will be the takedowns, it will be the control, and that $7,600 is going to look good. If Jose wins this fight, maybe he does finish here. That insane reach, that insane length. Because if Jose wins this fight, that means he was not taken down over and over and over, or he was and managed to pull off a submission. So I think you just kind of got to pick your side here. I'm on the Bunes side. Jacob is on the Bunes side. I will spend that $7,600. Yeah, I actually tried instead of Bunes, and then I still got it wrong. So I watch if I give a shit. $7,600 in DraftKings Fantasy. I will have that. And if you want to have,
what's
access,
funny is I just correct you because that's how I say it. I don't even know if that's right. What's funny is I just assume that I'm the right one because you're always like wrong on pronunciation. So if it's different than mine, I'm like, no, it's not how you say it. But I have no idea.
What is funny is, like, obviously we have to watch the tape study. You have to. How could you possibly break down a fight without watching the fight? So you hear their names announced many times over. And I still just pronounce it this.
Stuff sometimes.
No, I'll do all of it. Like, obviously, if I'm breaking down certain fighters, I've seen them a million times, doesn't matter. But I'll do all of it because I want to hear what they say. Well, the commentary. He's a this, he's a that, I'll watch the walkouts because they talk about them during the walkouts.
A lot of times I'll watch show and just watch, like I'll have one screen on something that I can listen to and kind of watch in the background, and then as I'm watching a fight, I just I trust. I don't need people telling me what's going on. I trust my eyes
I listen for the little
I think,
tidbits.
excuse me, and I think that really is what kind of separates.
Yeah.
You know, the men from the boys, right? You need somebody telling you what's going on during a fight, and I'm just here, you know, kind of understanding the ins and outs and the kind of language. And, you know, that's not the only language I know. You know, I know Portuguese, I know Spanish, I know the language of love, right? And if there's any...
Shut up. Got it. I listen not for what's happening in the fight because I have eyes. I listen for the random tidbits of like, so-and-so has this background, won these tournaments, did these like those little facts.
You show me 7 seconds of somebody in a stance throwing one strike.
Sure.
I can tell you exactly who they are, what they've been, and what they will become.
You can unlock all the picks, the bets, the tools, and the tape index inside the data analyzer. Watch the fights yourselves. Do your own tape study. Do your own research. We give you access to everything. You want to copy-paste? Great. You want to do your own research? Well, great. For $10 a month, you have access to literally everything, and you don't have to go hunting. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top, or download the app in the App Store. We had a question about the Android app. We had an Android app. We pulled it. The way the login works on Android was wonky, so we got to revamp it and figure it out later. But nobody
thinks you're cool for it. Everybody that has an Android. Dude, I had an iPhone 4. I didn't have another iPhone until iPhone 10. I had Androids the entire time. Galaxies, the S6, the S6 Edge, all this stuff. And I thought, look at me. Guys, iPhone? No thanks. I love my widgets. I just thought I was the coolest person. Nobody gives a fuck. Right? And everybody hates the person. It's getting better now, but everybody hates the person with the fucking Android. Grow the fuck up. Nobody gives a fuck you have an Android. Make it easier. iMessage, and this, like I said, I was an Android user for like fucking 6 or 7 years. iMessage trumps anything that Android fucking offers. Be a fucking man and just get an iPhone.
They did add...
Hashtag not ad.
They did add... what? Not SMS is regular texting... I forget what it is, but now their pictures that come from Androids won't be all pixelated. It's stupid. So big win for the green text.
Oh, but what about the camera? Dude, iPhone. I had the iPhone camera fucking 6 years ago, dude. Like, they don't even upgrade their fucking yet. Nobody gives a fuck.
Hey, listen, I'm with you. I'm a big tech nerd. I built arcades forever. I had a whole emulation machine. I had a whole Plex server. Watch that vlog where I had to drill holes in it because I was hacked. But like a big tech guy. So I had Androids forever for a while because I would torrent movies to my phone or to my tablet. I had a Motorola Razr tablet. But yeah, it all got stupid fast when your apps crash for no reason. This iPhone, it's 2 years old. It's not a 16. It's 2 years old, and I don't know the last time I actually turned it off and then turned it back on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't rebooted it once. No issues. It's incredible stuff.
It's like a Toyota engine.
It's not an ad, but
Japanese, I should say Japanese.
Wouldn't mind if it was.
We were talking about that in Discord today about Japanese cars, man. Those things just go forever. They figured it out, man.
I drive an American car because I'm not a traitor bitch. What about you?
Well, I regret my decision.
A German vehicle.
Yeah, I have a German. I'm a grown-ass man. I drive a manual, and I went from driving Japanese
I can drive stick. You know that as well. I drove your fucking...
Cool, little Angelo. This was my story. I drove Japanese clutches my whole life until I got this Volkswagen, and the German clutch is fucking ass. It's fucking terrible. If you've never driven a Japanese manual, which it's hard to find anymore, but get a fucking Toyota or a fucking Honda, or those things are fucking butter compared to this piece of shit. But I've gotten used to it. It's a good car. I like the car, but
I drove it. I liked it. It was smooth.
You said you can ride a stick? Sean Shelby says I can.
I said drive.
Can somebody rewind that and confirm that?
I said drive a stick. My first car ever was stick. I can drive a stick. Oops. Okay. Let's move on. And we're moving to the promo. If you want $50 for free, we're heading into the new year. We're doling out cash when we get to the emails. Just go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Use our link to sign up with any one of these sportsbook affiliate partners. make a deposit. They will pay us. We will slice off some of that money and give it right back to you. That's affiliate marketing. You use the link. We get the credit for you using the link. And then instead of just being gritty and pumping the link, we're going to slice some of that off.
You said gritty?
And I said gritty instead of greedy, and that's because
Back it up
kids,
and do the... Dude, I swear to God.
I can't.
No, I swear to God.
I'm going to try.
Try. Start on one end and go.
I don't
and
know
go,
it.
No, whatever you do, don't... Just whatever you're going to do, go boom and then back. And don't stop and do... Like, I don't know. Just whatever you think it is, start at one end, go once and then back.
Hold on. Let me turn on the tracking.
No, it's better if you don't. I promise it's better if you don't.
Well, then let me just put it up.
No, it's right there. No, you're good. No, don't move it.
When I fully stand up.
We need to see your legs.
Oh. Well, I'm not
You bend
positive.
over to do the gritty. Yeah, but I think you know it.
I only know it because my 6-year-old
I know.
and 8-year-old
Just back up
tried
and just
all the
go.
time.
Don't hesitate. Just commit to it one side and then go out of camera and then go to the other side, please. There, perfect.
Was that it? Did we gritty? Was that it? That's how the girls do it. They just like hop on one foot bent over. Was that not it? All right, let's see yours. Let's see yours then. Was that not it? Let's see your gritty in that dumbass outfit. The problem is that apartment isn't even big enough for you to gritty from one side to the other. Now I'm about to get mean.
And I live on the top floor, so I got people below me. It's sweet hot.
All right, listen. I don't usually encourage fat jokes towards me, but this one is solid. This is a very good fat joke. Angelo hit the griddle.
Said bro's 100% Caucasian. Yeah, bro, 100% Caucasian. Oh shit.
That's how my kids do it. So that's how I. That's how I think. Dude, you don't just hop on one foot like that and move your arms. Is that? Oh wait,
I mean we're laughing because we didn't expect him to nail it. He nailed
Oh,
it.
okay,
Man.
nice.
Yeah, I didn't expect me. I was fucking.
Nice.
Oh, that was Justin Jefferson, dog.
All right, don't know who that is, but I'll take it. Hey, we have an app. Mentioned a few times. I'm going to keep mentioning it. We have an app. Search We Want Picks in the App Store. Download the app. Ready to go. And this is the safety parlay. Yeah, there was a couple weeks off, but who gives a shit? Nothing changed every single Sunday. I was here breaking down a card. I broke down UFC Vegas 101. I broke down UFC 311. I broke down UFC Saudi Arabia. And every single one of those cards, I did the research. I followed the process, the same process that got me 9 of the last 10 safety parlays. The only one I missed was some middle-of-the-night bullshit from UFC China. You can unlock all of those things and more right now, including the addition of BetSam. And BetSam picked, in 2024, picked fights at incredible accuracy. If he shows up here and starts to shit the bed, he'll be gone. But for now, he's doing it, and he's doing it quite well. Just like Artem, who is crushing regional fights. Check out everything we have to offer. Me, Jacob, the 2 dudes from New Zealand, and the artificial intelligence. Right now, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. And I'm not fat. I am slim thick. I don't know what that means, but I've got giant fucking legs and a big back from wrestling forever. And not big back like how the kids use it today. Just like a literal big back. Yeah, a literal big back. Yeah.
Big back.
That kid that called all his sister and all those girls tortas. That's so funny. All right, let's move on. Oh, and there's a survey. If you're a premium member, not everybody got this email. If you are a premium member, you got a survey. And this is what the premium members use to tell us what they like and what they don't like. So there's 4,600, whatever the hell the number was, of you that got this email. Fill out the survey. It cost you $0 to fill out the survey. We'll give one random person who did fill it out $100. We do this every single year. Last year, the number one thing was get us an app. So we did. We got you a freaking app. Another thing was, I don't want to see the individual analyst pages. I want everything condensed down. So we did that. So fill out the survey. This is what drives premium membership. This is how we constantly improve and constantly add. If you are a premium member, check the email. Check your account page. Check in the Discord. Josh, the web guy, posted in the Discord. If you're not a premium member, become one, then go to the account page, fill it out. You can get $100 here. The guys from Night Bloom said, hey, we can throw in a case of vodka or some vodka for the person you're going to give the winner to as well. I didn't respond back to him yet, but I think we'll save that for something bigger than just a survey, right? If they're generous enough to donate to you guys, we'll do it for something different. But either way, fill out the freaking survey so we can make sure premium continues to be the best possible offering on this planet, period. End of story. Jacob, Anvi lives in Vegas, invited us. I can't hear you anymore.
I forgot I muted myself.
He invited us to play pickleball this week, and I said we're not going to get in until late, so probably can't. Somebody said, what?
Dude, I would fuck
Jacob's
Angelo,
weird good at pickleball for sure.
I'm good at everything, Angelo. Somebody asked for fleshlights. I don't know if we can do fleshlights, but I think we should do molds. We could sell molds of us if you're down. I'd be comfortable with that.
Okay. You're not going to be comfortable when there's two molds sitting on the table. We know very clearly which one isn't yours.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Done.
I agree. Whoa.
Fine with me. The survey email, I believe, was sent yesterday. Check it out. You don't even need the email. It's in the Discord, and then just log in the premium, go to your account page. Bingo, bongo, boombo, fongo. Let's go ahead and move on. Opening up the UFC Vegas 101 main card, we have Punahele Soriano reinventing himself at welterweight, taking on Uros Medic. Punahele Soriano 10-4 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off a successful welterweight debut, taking on Uros Medic, 10-2 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that KO win over Tim Means. Punahele Soriano, fluid striker, a ton of power in his hands. He can knock out most people on his feet. And there was a giant chunk of his career where that's all he was doing. And so people forgot that he's actually a Division III All-American wrestler who, despite having good offensive wrestling and accomplishing those goals, has been taken down quite a bit, actually 18 times in his 8 UFC fights. He can be first round or bust at times, but he does retain his power later in the fights. He is coming off a successful welterweight debut where he went back to his wrestling roots, which can be a little bit concerning in this matchup because he's taking on kickboxer Uros Medic. He's a clean technical striker. He does come out fast. He does come out pretty loose. And he has a 100% finish rate in his 10 wins. He has speed, power, legit killer instinct. When he smells some blood, he will go for broke. His takedown defense sits at middle of the road, 55%. But that can be a bit skewed if you dig in because he was taken down 7 times in that one fight with Motobek Orobai. He is coming off that knockout win over Tim Means back in April. And this is an interesting fight that I have, the longer I look at it, I just go back and forth. Because right off the rip, I'm like, Uros Medic wins here. Too good of a striker. He's going to win here. But then it's like, man, Medic was taken down a couple times in that last fight. And that's not in his last fight, but he's been taken down several times in his career. And Punahele Soriano went back to the wrestling roots. We saw that. And if he just sticks to a wrestle-heavy game plan here, he can absolutely 100% win this fight. The 2 losses on the Medic side are exactly from that. But I just don't think Punahele's going to be able to have that same success in that fight that he has in others. I think he might get tagged early, feel that power, start to panic wrestle. And that's basically what happened when he fought Roman Kopylov, and I think it could be more of the same here. So I am going to pick Uros. I'm pretty confident in that, but obviously the actual real-life wrestling credentials of Punahele, as well as the fact that he used it in his last fight, does concern me a bit. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, this whole Puna wrestling bullshit is such fucking bullshit. I know he's got wrestling accolades. He took down Miguel Baeza in his last fight. That definitely was the path to victory. I was pretty high on Miguel Baeza in that fight. I just thought that he was going to be a tenacious striker that can defend the takedowns. But as that fight got closer, I'm looking at the Instagram. This guy's like training by himself in like a garage with like one other person just holding mitts for him. Like that's all the only training I saw. Like I think Miguel Baeza came in and was basically like just not prepared for that fight. You saw, I mean, he was easily taken down and he was not trying to do anything on the ground. Where you watch Uros Medic, when he is fighting a guy like Oral Bay, yeah, he's getting taken down, but you see, number one, what you want to see when people are getting taken down is, do they have a sense of urgency, right? Are they going to just fall to their back and pull guard, just kind of play that game? Do they have a sense of urgency? When I'm seeing them getting taken down by Oral Bay, I'm seeing a sense of urgency. I'm seeing that panic scramble, trying to get back to your feet. The second thing is, do they know what they're doing? Are they on their back? Are they, do they keep getting mat returns and this type of stuff? Are they do they have the technique to get back to their feet? And if you're watching that, in my opinion, I'm not an expert, but it looked like he knew how to get back to his feet, knew to get to his knees, post, get to the fence, try to grind up. And he just happened to be up against a very high-level grappler that was just better than him in that day in the grappling, right? But he was trying to get back to his feet. He knew how to. He just couldn't quite get there. Puna Soriani is a guy that I like Puna. Right, he's a big, tough Hawaiian. He's got power. I think it's more likely that he chins Udos than dominate him on the ground. He got 5 takedowns against Miguel Baeza. That was his first time he's taken anybody down since 2019, where he took down fucking Oscar Picota. Who the fuck is Oscar Picota? I don't know. He got 1 takedown in the fight. That was the last time he takes somebody. He's not coming in with this offensive wrestling game plan. He wants a kind of slow, methodical counter strike, land a big shot, and maybe he can against Udos, who got sat down a little bit by Semmelsberger, but Udos is going to have such an advantage on the feet. He's a super dangerous guy, and although Puna is a tough dude, this dude Udos puts people away. I think it's 10 fights, 10 finishes, a lot of them early. He is just a very high-level striker, and even though he's kind of up in weight and Puna's coming down, it's kind of this way. I just don't think the wrestling's going to be there. If he does get taken down, he might get taken down. I think he's got the sense of urgency and the know-how to get back against a guy like Puna. It's not like a take you down and control you. I mean, Miguel Baeza was just fucking laying there. So I like Udos, and I think this could end up looking like the best. I think a lot of people are going to end this card and be like, damn, Udos is 185, minus 195. He looked fucking minus 400. Why didn't I bet Udos? So that's how I played it. I bet him, and I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah, I bet on him as well. If you want to check out the bet, you can do so now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. So I do have bets on him. I just get a little nervous. As a wrestler myself, I favor wrestlers. I'm heavy on the wrestler side, somebody who can control where the fight is. I tend to lean that way. So that's giving me a little uh-oh. But I guess the reality is I bet on him, so I believe he gets it done. So I'm going to stick with that here. $7,500 in DraftKings Fantasy versus $8,700. If you think Uros wins, then you got to go the $8,700 DraftKings Fantasy. He has every single fight has put up those numbers, especially the wins, obviously. When he loses, he's not putting up the numbers. But 10 wins, $8,700 in DraftKings Fantasy. He's covering that because 10 stoppages. And if he beats Punahele Soriano, it'll be another stoppage as well. If you want to check out all of that out, the bets, the tools, the picks, all the insight, everything, WeWantPicks.com. Next up, at UFC Vegas 101, we have another Dana White Contender Series prospect in Austin Bashi, and he is taking on Christian Rodriguez. 13-0. Thank you so much. I mean,
you do the with the purple and everything. You had the pictures. And
I mixed up that. You know what? I broke this down long before the UFC released official colors for this fight card. So I went with the purple because it's a couple of ladies main eventing.
It's I hate to break this to you, but that's pink.
Well, all right, fine, pink. It is pink. You're right. Tiff says I'm colorblind, but I do know that's pink. But I did this, in the spirit of the lady fight card.
No, I think
Great.
It looks good.
I mean, they're the best graphics in the game. It has everything you could ever need. 2 graphics. Look at this. Everything you could. Look at this.
Wow, bet Sam self-promoting in the chat.
Is he? Fucking loser. Slam of the week. I put 95 fucking units on a UFC debut. Slam of the week. I'm regretting letting Sam on board, by the way.
I love Sam.
We'll see how this week goes. The guy put his life savings on a 16-year-old.
I got you, Sam. I got you.
Let's break down that 16-year-old now. We got Austin Bashi. 13-0. Undefeated in his career. And obviously, as I mentioned, this is his UFC debut. And he's taking on the prospect killer in Christian Rodriguez. 11-2 in his career. He is coming off that submission loss to a featherweight who wasn't a prospect. But we'll start with Bashi. Me is a major prospect. He is 23 years old, not the 16 that I alluded to, and he is undefeated. He's got a wide array of wins. He's got good striking. He's got good grappling. He's all around very solid. Definitely more of a grappler than a striker. He's got some very real takedowns. He has no problem shooting open mat takedowns and then reshooting if he misses. As soon as he's tied up, he's working for a takedown. But he has no problem pivoting to a submission if there's an opportunity there, meaning he doesn't need to take you to the ground to try to find an opening. He's taking on C-Rod, Christian Rodriguez, a slick striker, solid movement, good speed, decent takedown defense at 65%. He has been taken down 21 times so far in the UFC, and that was at 135 pounds, where he was a big prospect. He was a prospect buster. He had 3 wins in a row.
He's just a buster.
3 wins in a row over 3 UFC prospects. Each one of those wins had some level of controversy, whether it was the weight misses or a really bad scorecard in that fight with Isaac Dolgarian. So he got forced to 145 pounds, where he was taken down and submitted by Julian Erosa. And actually it was a guillotine. Here we go again, right? Christian Rodriguez, big-time underdog against a highly touted grappling prospect that the UFC is putting in front of him. I hope the narrative is a little different here, because Austin Bashi isn't going to gas. He's not going to do the shiwiwi. That dude gassed right after the first round. Isaac Dolgarian, I very firmly believe Isaac Dolgarian beat Christian Rodriguez on all the scorecards in what was the clearest 29-28 I've ever seen. But he did gas like very, very badly in the third round. I don't see Austin Bashi gassing the same way those other people did. And he can strike as well. So I think Austin Bashi gets it done. I think he can hang in the striking just long enough to shoot the takedowns. And he's not going to gas, even though Christian will make him work and stay composed. So this is a great test. Right off the rip, he's going to go against the guy that's busted more than one bubble, but I think Austin Bashi gets it done. These odds are getting a little ridiculous, though. Minus 300 against the guy who has proven himself at this level. Yeah, he just lost to Julian Erosa. He got caught in a guillotine. That's it. Caught in a guillotine. Nothing crazy. He wasn't getting smoked. He got caught in a guillotine. What do you think, Jakey boy?
He was kind of getting beat up, and there's a reason why he shot a takedown. But it wasn't even like the worst part about that is it wasn't I'm shooting a single or I'm shooting a double. Oh, my neck got taken. Whoops. Like mistakes like that happen. He was on the ground in, I think, like a half guard situation on top of Julian Erosa, and Julian Erosa was like, dun, 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 dun.
And that's what he does, too.
Like, just slowly, just methodically getting over the head and get that arm underneath, and then, boom, pulls it and submits him. So it's a very slow motion situation. It wasn't like a bang, ooh, I got caught. And to let that happen, like, you got to know.
What are you doing over there? You're muted again. Yeah, you're muted. You probably have the same stupid-ass microphone issue as before. That dumb outfit you're wearing, he's bumping in the shit. You're muted. The software has you muted, which means your microphone disconnected. And now the software doesn't know what microphone to use. All because of this stupid shithead outfit. Nobody can hear you. You do not have a microphone connected. This is unbelievable.
I think it's good.
Yeah, it is good. Stop moving.
I can't hear you, though.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Just fix the headphones. The audio is good. Fix the headphones. Fucking moron. You see that?
All right, talk.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Oh, no, I can't hear you. What's going on? Why isn't it working?
Just establish the output in the stupid fucking software. Oh my God, I gotta text him. In the software, I can hear you. Fucking moron bitch.
We're good.
Now
I know you could hear me. I said I couldn't hear you.
Okay, here we go. Okay, well, finish whatever the hell it is you were gonna do.
What was I saying?
Who are you picking in the fight? You were saying Christian got submitted by guillotine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this dude, the fact that, I mean, he just made a career, made a living off of just hoping people get tired so that he can take over. I mean, he just he makes a living off getting beat on to the point where some people get fucking tired. I mean, C-Rod is not that fucking dude. And as you mentioned, Bashi's not a guy that has all these first-round finishes and it's like question marks on his gas tank. This guy can go, this guy can go, and this guy can go. And he's going to be all over C-Rod. And while he might not be a finisher, that's actually a good thing in this fight. He knows how to win decisions as well. And I think he just fucking dog walks C-Rod. C-Rod ain't that fucking dude. And you know what I might do? Because I have Isaac Dolgarian's phone number. When C-Rod loses, he walks right past us. I might FaceTime Isaac Dolgarian just so he can look at fucking C-Rod's dumb little face as he's fucking walking out of the octagon with his head down. Just so Isaac can get a little bit chuckle about that because he got fucking steamrolled by Isaac.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, we're both on the Austin Bashi side. He has a UFC debut, and that does need to be factored into any level of confidence that people have because yes, he's a UFC debut, but Christian's also kind of an established guy who has decent wins. So I think we're starting to get on not worth it territory here with these odds, but I am on the Austin Bashy side. If you want to check out all the picks and the bets, you can do so now, $8,900. If he does what he's supposed to do, and if he is who the UFC tells us he is, then that $8,900 will be well worth it. WeWantPicks.com, click become a member at the top.
It's so funny that I'm texting you. I can just tell you this. I was texting you an update on my mic. The cord is definitely, I just like barely touched it. And when my mic like shuts off, it shorts my monitor out as well. So my monitor goes off, my audio goes off. So I can't touch it because I just touched it. It just did it again. So we're good though.
Maybe that oversized clown costume you have on is the problem.
No, it was when this thing fucking just dropped on top of the fucking everything, and I think it.
Because you were wearing an inflatable oversized clown costume. Got it.
I'm getting excited for Valentine's Day.
And that's what it is. All self-inflicted. Next up, at UFC Vegas 101, we have a very, very interesting fight. We have Chris Curtis taking on Roman Kopylov. This is a spectacular matchup, and I am looking forward to it. Christopher Curtis, 31-11 in his career. He is 2-1 in his last 5, and he is coming off that main event loss to Brendan Allen, taking on Roman Kopylov, 13-3 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that wrestle heavy win over Cesar Almeida. And Chris Curtis is a clean counter striker. We know that about him. He's a guy that's finding power in short left hooks and putting people down or boxing them up. He can be a dog on the feet. He's got spectacular takedown defense. In fact, he went into his last fight with Brendan Allen with the highest takedown defense in the UFC's middleweight division. That obviously went down the hill when Brendan Allen had a few takedowns. But the reality is Chris Curtis is a very high-level boxer that has very good takedown defense. He's taking on Roman Kopylov. Roman Kopylov is a very high-level kickboxer. He had professional kickboxing experience. He picks his shots really well before settling in and weaving together combinations. He is 5-3 in the UFC, and all 5 of those wins are essentially over anybody that could not take him down. He has an 87% takedown defense. He's probably not going to need it in this fight. And he is coming off that decision win over Cesar Almeida, where a knockdown and 5 takedowns reminded us of how well-rounded Roman actually is. Listen, I am a Chris Curtis fan. It may not seem that way because we've picked against him several times, but you could be a fan of a fighter and just look at that fight objectively and make a decision. And this is going to be one of those times. I think Chris Curtis is grossly underrated as an MMA fighter. He is a very well-rounded guy who's not even fighting at his weight class. He's not a middleweight. He spent the majority of his career at welterweight, came into the UFC on short notice against Phil Hawes at middleweight, and then just stayed there. And he's had a good amount of success. The biggest issue with Chris Curtis is while he has all of these skills, and if you go watch his non-UFC fights, you'll see some offensive wrestling. He has all these skills. He hasn't used any of them other than the counter-striking and the takedown defense. And this is not a fight to be a two-dimensional guy. You're going to need more than just counter-boxing and takedown defense. The takedown defense is probably a moot point in this fight because Roman took down Cesar because Cesar's a high-level kickboxer. I think Roman's just going to be the better striker in a mostly striking matchup, to use Jacob's words here. So Roman Kopylov is going to be the pick. This is another fight where I think the odds are starting to get a little crazy because Chris Curtis is the more well-rounded fighter, but he doesn't use all those skills. Therefore, I'm going to have to go with the guy who has the better skills of the ones that they're both actually going to use. Roman Kopylov is the pick. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I've seen all the stuff this week about Chris Curtis. You know, obviously I do the underdog lock of the week, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, Chris Curtis lock of the week. Like he could be the body shots, all this stuff." And I get it. I get it. I don't think there's anybody that's been a bigger fan of Chris Curtis than me. When he came in against what was it Buckley or whatever, I was like, he could knock out Buckley, and that's what it was, Buckley, right?
He knocked out Joaquin Buckley.
Yeah, and I was like, and then he fought Brendan Allen. I was like, if Brendan Allen's not careful, he can get knocked out by Chris Curtis. I've been very high on Chris Curtis, so much to a point where he's been my lock of the week 3 times. Lock of the week 3 times. I love this guy and the way that he strikes and the Philly shell and the pressure that he brings in his boxing. And if you stand in front of this guy and you box with him, you're probably going to fucking lose. Not only lose, but you probably lose like 95 out of 100 times. This guy's a very good boxer if you just stand in front of him and box him. But as Angel mentioned, Roman Kopylov's not a boxer. He's a kickboxer. He likes to use the range. He likes to use the kicks. Chris Curtis has been lock of the week 3 times, 0-2-1 as lock of the week. There's only one other person that is worse than Chris Curtis as lock of the week.
Who's that? Who's that person? Who's the worst lock of the week? The record. Who is it?
So there was a couple of these fights was not. I mean, there were some close decisions to where one I think was definitely a win. The second one was definitely closer. Obviously, the other one was a little bit iffy, but kind of unrelated to anything going on. Amanda Ribas is
the worst lock of the week of all time.
0-3 as lock of the week. But yeah, I think Romilov is going to keep that range, keep those kicks. I know he mentioned, like you said, he mixed in the wrestling versus Caesar, but Caesar's not really. He's pretty easy to take down. I don't think he's going to be. I mean, if he thinks, I'm just going to take down Chris Curtis like I did Caesar,
no,
I'm going to win
he's
that.
Not
Yeah,
taking
not.
Chris
Yeah,
Curtis.
I hope that's not the game plan. It should just be rangy kicks. And while Chris Curtis is a pressure fighter, he is not like, when you see like a Josh Van pressure somebody, it is in your face and he is following you with the body shots. He is touching you as he's pressuring, right? It's touch, it's jab, it's boom, and he is touching you and he's on the pressure. Chris Curtis will walk you down, but he's not bringing anything with it. So if you're not hurting somebody while you're walking them down, yeah, Kopylov might slow down eventually, but I still think he's going to have enough firepower to just score, and I just think he's going to be scoring more. I've sat there and watched Chris Curtis fights as lock of the week and been like, Chris, you got to do something. Like, I know you're walking them down, but you can't just bitch at these guys and say, he wasn't fighting me. I was there to fight. It's like you got it. I mean, I would want my win money. And if you want your win money, you got to eventually can't just keep following people. But I've seen him do it way too many times, and he just doesn't seem to ever change. So I'm going Roman Kopylov to maybe win a boring just from the outside, touch.
Yeah, there we go. I like Chris Curtis quite a bit. Like I said, he's the
Nobody
better
liked
fighter.
Chris Curtis more than me.
He's the better fighter, but he doesn't use any of the skills outside of his best skill, which is the boxing. So going to have to go Kopylov here, $9,100, full-blown fade. For 2 reasons. 1, he's not going to finish Chris Curtis, so he's not going to score well. And 2, Chris Curtis actually is a good underdog and could make something. He's the better fighter, so I wonder if, could make something happen.
Because I think they've kind of made up. I wonder if Sean's going to be in his corner, because Sean's always in his corner. And they had the little split up like around election time and stuff like that, to where it's like they couldn't ever be friends. But then somebody said
they make up?
Somebody said they're training together again, or at least in like training pictures or whatever. But
I mean, it's got to be hard to be like legit, bro. Like you and I have had ups and downs, but never truly like that's it forever. Fuck off. Because it's like over what? Like over words? That's crazy. I can understand like you fucked my wife, you stole money, sure.
Which I didn't.
What?
You said something. I said I didn't. It would be funny. Okay, so I didn't.
I bet. If you do want to check out, I actually do have a bet on this fight. If you want to check that out, the only reason I know you didn't is because she would eat you alive. She's like a praying mantis. Anyway, that choose your words. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. You don't have to listen to me. Listen to the people. Jay Fields sent a $4.99 super chat to say, happy to see the boys are back. I'm checking in from work in a crime lab. This is Dexter. And in fact, it's a crime that we get all of this content for only $10. WWP is the shit. Thank you very much.
Someone said
Jay Field.
Yeah, thank you, Jay Field. Ja Phil. Do Ja Phil?
Someone said what?
Ja Phil?
Okay.
No, someone said Jacob, thoughts on the new Marvel game.
Jacob looks like somebody. He definitely looks like somebody who would know everything about the new Marvel game. 100%. 100%.
Where's that football?
There you go. Next up, at UFC Vegas 101, we have Abdul Razak Al Hassan taking on Cesar Almeida in the featured fight of the evening. Abdul Razak Al Hassan, 12-6 in his career, 2-2-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that no contest against Cody Brundage, taking on Cesar Almeida, 6-1 in his entire MMA career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that bounce back win over Ihor Potieria. Abdul Razak Al Hassan. At this point in time, we've broken down enough times for you to know that he is actually a high-level judo practitioner. Sure, inside the octagon, he's a powerful striker. A judoka. Judoka.
I like that.
Well, and then there was some Muppet in the comments the other day was like, can we stop saying he's a high-level judo practitioner? Because he's not. Motherfucker, he literally is. He literally is. He is a high-level judo black belt who has competed his entire life at judo. Whether he uses that in a fist fight inside of
You got your karate chop. You got your Judy chop.
Whether he uses those inside of a cage or not is an entirely different point that we will touch on here. But those skills exist. Inside of an octagon, he's not a high-level judo practitioner. Inside of an octagon, he's a powerful striker. He will headhunt and he will look for a knockout. He's an incredibly talented guy, but he doesn't use all the tools. This is very similar to the breakdown we just did of Chris Curtis, except more tragic because Abdulrazak Hassan has insane power, insane speed, and high-level judo, but he's getting up there in age. He's taking on Cesar Almeida. Cesar Almeida is a big-time professional kickboxer. He had success at the highest levels. He beat Alex Pereira famously, and I think the UFC wanted to build both of these guys up, try to make something like that happen, but didn't exactly work when Cesar Almeida just got taken down 100 times in his last fight. He has clean combinations, big power, good work, very dangerous every second that the fight remains standing. His takedown defense in the middle of the cage doesn't exist. There is no takedown defense whatsoever. Against the cage, he could defend those takedowns because that's all anybody seems to work in an MMA gym. And before I go on some long, ridiculous rant about learning his scramble skills and defending takedowns without a wall or without a cage, we'll just leave it at it's ridiculous to compete in this sport and not practice that. He is coming off that win over Ihor Potieria where he was measured and controlled despite 4 eye pokes and a nut shot. And when I saw that Cesar was a minus 235 favorite when I first looked at this, I was like, boom, that's crazy. This should be much wider. And then you look at it over time, over a month specifically, and you start to get worried. And you start to worry about the takedowns and the takedown defense. Abdul did look phenomenal in his last fight. That fight was only 37 seconds long, but he looked good. He is a 39-year-old man, though. And you can't take his success in a under 1 minute fight to set odds. What you can, though, do is look at the fact that Abdul's got great judo and Cesar can struggle with takedown defense. If you think Abdul goes all in on the wrestling, like when he fought Buckley, then he's a great underdog here and you should go after it. If you think he's going to strike, then Cesar Almeida is going to be the pick. I am going to go with Cesar Almeida here. But damn it, I get a little bit worried. What do you think, Jakey boy?
So let me, I just want to make sure we get this straight. I think it's important moving forward. You believe that cheating is looking good in a fight?
Before the back of the head shots in question, he was real fast and looked pretty good. And he was very fired up in all the interviews.
He was struggling. He was about to struggle to defend a takedown, get taken down, and get fucking mauled. And he resorted to Gestapo tactics, back of the shot heads. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a blade on him of some sort. This guy was going in there, and he was going to win that fight any way possible, and that was with cheating, right? And in this fight, I just don't think that Abdulrazak Al-Hassan is that dude. I just don't think he's that dude. Now he's 40 years old and he's trying to turn on this like new persona of like, I'm going in there to kill everybody. And if he comes and just runs across the octagon like he did against Cody, and tries that illegal bullshit, reckless abandon against a guy like Cesar Almeida. Cesar Almeida has to be licking his fucking chops watching how recklessly he came at Cody Brundage as a powerful, high-level, experienced, counter-striking kickboxer. I mean, I think he can't wait for this matchup. People want to talk about the wrestling. He doesn't really have wrestling, and you got to close the distance to get to the judo. And as long as Cesar Almeida kind of stays out of those clinches, I think he should roll here. He's a way, way, way better striker, and he's a tough dude as well. I mean, even if he's getting taken down, he knows how to just, even if he can't get back up, he's not getting beat up on the ground. And Abdulrazak Al-Hassan isn't known for like crazy ground and pound and whatever. So if he does get taken down, he'll bide his time. He can go 3 rounds. And I think Abdul, even if he's getting takedowns, is going to fucking gas anyway. So Abdul might, win the first round with takedowns, all that stuff. But eventually those takedowns aren't going to fucking work. And when they stop working, good fucking luck.
Yeah, I think we're aligned here. I'm probably worried about the takedowns a little more than you. Roman Kopylov is a kickboxer that was taking him down all the time. That's what worries me. That's what gives me a little bit of like, uh-oh. And that was going
to be my reference for that Kopylov fight was that Cesar Almeida did make him look like a real Russian. And don't get it mistaken, Khabibulov is not a wrestler, and he looked like a real Russian in that fight. But Abdul, I mean, I know he's got power, but telegraphed power against a high-level counter-strike, I mean, that type of power doesn't translate. Like, Cesar's going to see that type of power a mile away. He doesn't set it up with combos. It's just big shots. It's not really fast. He's 40 years old. He's going to be slowing down. It's just...
The only thing what gave me some comfort or like my coping mechanism or what I convinced myself is Cesar wasn't expecting Roman, another high-level kickboxer, to shoot takedowns. So was completely ill-prepared for that. But it happened. And hopefully it was like a wake-up call to set up the rest of
I know he works hard, too.
I mean, of course, but like...
He's working hard. You
spend your entire lifetime working on one skill set, and then late in life, how old is he?
34?
36. He's not that young.
Yeah.
36 years old. Now you're trying to learn an entirely new skill set. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. And I would argue wrestling's harder to learn than striking. Because you can be shitty at wrestling, but if you get to the hips, it's a problem. Anyway, that's a debate for another day. Okay. $6,900. I think at that price point, Abdulrazak Alhassan's a phenomenal underdog. I think he's a great underdog here. I genuinely do. I'm still on the Cesar Almeida side. I think he's just too high level of a kickboxer, and it's very similar to the Chris Curtis breakdown. Until we see Abdulrazak Alhassan go all in on the grappling more than once. He did it against Buckley, but more than one time, then we just have to assume it's going to be more of the same, which is looking to take a very high-level kickboxer's head off. I do have bet on this fight. If you want to check out that bet, you can do so now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, it's freaking $10. And if you don't know how well we've been doing, just check any of the recap videos from 2024, and it'll give you a nice
Cesar
little
barely
taste.
got past Ihor. Ihor's a fucking good striker.
Very good.
How many times have I said that? He's a
very... And he didn't barely get past him. He was poked in the eyes twice and kicked in the nuts the other way.
Ihor is fucking 10 times the striker Abdul is. Doesn't have the just overwhelming power, but technically he's a fucking really good striker.
Sure. Next up, at UFC Vegas 101, we have the one and only fight on this entire card where the odds flipped. We had opening underdog Santiago Ponzinibbio flip to a favorite, taking on Carlston Harris. Santiago Ponzinibbio, 29-8 in his career, only 1-4 in his last 5. And he is coming off that close loss to Muslim Salikov. Taking on Carlston Harris, 19-6 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that KO loss to Chaos Williams. Santiago Ponzinibbio is a very good striker. He likes to stay outside of the pocket. And that striking is clean. He does a really good job of managing range as well. He does not have a ton of raw power, but he's got good volume, good accuracy, and good speed, so he can try to squeeze in a TKO. Coming off that close loss to fellow old man Muslim Salikov, where he had 2 offensive takedowns and defended 5. Taking on Carlston Harris. He's a well-rounded guy. Pretty wild striking, but he does have some power in there as well. He's a very slick, opportunistic grappler, meaning he's going to snatch up a Darce or even a standing head and arm choke if he sees an opening. His wrestling is solid. He doesn't have traditional takedowns, but he's got good body locks and trips. And then as soon as you hit the mat, he's working towards something. He did just get knocked out very quickly, though, against Chaos Williams. Both of these guys are pretty old. They're probably both fighting for their careers. I broke this fight down 3 weeks ago for you when Santiago Ponzinibbio was squarely the underdog, and I picked him to win. He is now a favorite. This is no longer an insanely close fight. Minus 126. That's a favorite. What?
So, Riffraff, we love Riffraff, said, careful, guys. Santiago hears everything you type.
Those are, big ears, boy. Anyway, speaking of Santiago's big ears, they're usually covered with headphones on Saturday nights because he works the commentating desk for the Spanish broadcast.
You'll see him. Sitting there.
No, he's going to be fighting. He's a great fucking idiot.
You're right. It's probably going to be Cheeto.
Is that who fills in for him?
Cheeto was there last time doing it.
There you go. Santiago Ponzinibbio is working on his next career, as he should be, as anybody should be.
He's going to be fighting. That's a great call.
I will see him there in the cage.
That's a great call.
So the problem is I am going to pick Santiago Ponzinibbio to win here because I think despite also being old, I think he's going to be a little sharper, a little faster, a little cleaner on the feet. And then I think the wrestling's 50-50 on both sides. So he's going to be the pick. But anybody who's focusing on their next career is a little worrisome in this type of situation. So Ponzinibbio is going to be the pick, literally because I think he's just going to be a hair faster, and I think he's the better striker. That's it, but I'm not going to bet on this. Maybe when he was plus 135, that would have made sense, but I wasn't comfortable enough to bet on it then, even though I told you I thought he wins. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I mean, the odds to me kind of make sense. The fact that there was one way and it flipped to the other, I could see people not really knowing what to do with this fight because it is kind of a clash of styles. Ponzinibbio is a very technical guy that's going to stay in the pocket and throw combinations with head movement and stuff like that. And Carlson Harrison is not that guy. I mean, he is a guy that, he's cocking shit back like this. His takedowns are sloppy on the ground. He's going to go for all those fucking anacondas and darces and all those front chokes that he's known for. I mean, he is a wild fucking savage. And honestly, in this fight of, whatever this could turn into, I'm just going to pick the more dangerous guy. Carlson's got a bunch of finishes. I think he can find something on the feet, or if it goes to the ground, he's shown he's dangerous. Not only dangerous early, but he's weirdly dangerous throughout the fight. Like this guy just kind of just keeps doing the wild, crazy stuff. And even in the third round, as Jeremiah Wells learned, he is still a dangerous dude. So I'm gonna go with the danger here in Carlston Harris, but. I understand the odds, and if Ponzinibbio just kind of points and picks them apart and, catches them coming in with one of these big shots, a lot of times when you're winging, and all it takes is, as Angelo knows as well, during the fight, we had to edit it out, unfortunately, but he kind of stepped in with a big shot. I kind of just stuck out that nice stiff jab and really kind of wobbled him, and that could happen here, but I'm going Carlston as a pick, but I might bet it when we get there probably just to have some fun action on it, but nothing. I mean, this is a weird fight. It's a weird fight, but it's a good. I mean, it's an
entertaining fight.
Dude, this is the most weird co-main event maybe that we'll see in 2025, honestly. But it could be one of the better ones, honestly. It's a wild fight.
The co-main event should either be Thiago Moises or I think if I was setting this card, the co-main would be Chris Curtis. I mean, Chris Curtis is a pay-per-view guy. Let alone a fight night, not even the featured fight. It's a bizarre placement on a card for sure.
But I think they know it's going to be just going to be a wild fight, entertaining.
It'll be entertaining, yeah. And honestly, that's what this all is, and people lose sight of that. It's like that. This is literally entertainment. That's what this is. We watch this to be entertained, like Gladiator. $8,000 in DraftKings Fantasy versus $8,200 DraftKings Fantasy. They are split as well. I think this is a fun yet sloppy back and forth decision. The winner could potentially score pretty well, just literally in sloppy back and forth. Maybe we get dropped and take down here and then back. It could be a mess. Pick your side. I'm on the Ponzinibbio side. If you do want to check out all the picks, the bets, the tools, I'll tell you right now, no bet on this fight, but we got 14 other fights or 13 other fights that make up this card, as well as all of next week, which is UFC 311. Check out all of that right now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Super chat from Next Lennon, trying to buy Angelos Forgiveness. I think you commented something about, are you still mad? I don't even remember what this is about. But keep paying, and I'll decide if I forgive you or not. I do hold grudges, but this time I don't even remember what the grudge is about. Next up, at UFC Vegas 101, we have the main event of the evening. We have Mackenzie Dern headlining the first card of the year against Amanda Ribas in her second ever main event. Mackenzie Dern, 14-5 in her career. You're not putting on that fucking stupid bullshit, are you?
Should I? You don't.
I'd prefer you didn't put on a giant inflatable heart for this. I'd prefer that. Yeah. Tell you what, I'm going to break down this fight and you do whatever you think would make your father proudest. Okay. We got Mackenzie Dern taking on Amanda Ribas. Mackenzie Dern, 14-5 in her career, 2-3 in her last 5, coming off a decision win over the very unreliable Lupe Godinez. She's taking on Amanda Ribas. Amanda Ribas, 13-5 in her career, 2-3 in her last 5, coming off that close main event loss to Rose Namajunas. Mackenzie Dern, we all know her by now, and we also know that this fight was supposed to be the co-main event of UFC Tampa before the break, but the fight was canceled and it was moved to this card as a main event. It went from 3 rounds to 5. And I don't know why they moved it. Do you, Jacob? Did they move it for any particular reason? An injury? Anything? Or just they needed a main event?
Oh, you're talking about why they moved it from Tampa to
Yeah.
whatever? I didn't have that information. I think they just need a main event, and the Tampa
probably.
card was pretty loaded anyway, so it's a great main event. I know people hate on it, but I mean, both these girls are tough as shit.
People hate on any women's main event unreasonably, but these are too exciting. Mackenzie Dern's not been in a boring fight, neither has Amanda Ribas. So the fight will be entertaining, and it sort of matters for the division. But we got Mackenzie Dern, as we all know, world-class grappler, amazing jiu-jitsu. Mixed results in MMA because her takedowns aren't very good, and the striking, while improving, is only offensive. There's not much defensive striking there. She just gets hit in the head over and over and over and over again. She has a negative striking differential, a horrific 16% takedown accuracy, but she's insanely tough. She has no quit whatsoever, and she is coming off that win over Lupi Godinez, where it was a bit controversial. There was some back and forth, but the reality is Mackenzie Dern was there, Mackenzie Dern was moving forward, and Mackenzie Dern somehow got 2 takedowns against one of the better wrestlers in the division. Taking on Amanda Ribas outside of being the love of Jacob's life. Amanda Ribas is a very well-rounded fighter, and she is getting her...
Hold on, excuse me. I honestly don't know if you guys know this, but
yeah, you met her.
at UFC 285, I actually got the privilege of meeting Amanda Ribas, and what, kind of a beautiful, situation that was. It kind of spurred a lot of things, right, in my life. I mean, the whole reason why me and you are gonna be at the Apex.
Amanda Ribas is getting her second main event. This fight is at 115 pounds, not the 125 she previously got it at. She started her career as a grappler. She's obviously added skills along the way, and now she's very good everywhere. Her striking stats are solid, almost a 5-3 striking differential. 61% striking defense. To round her out, she's got good takedown defense, good takedown offense, plenty of cardio, and she is always willing to fight. She is coming off the loss to Rose Namajunas, where she had 4 takedowns, but that was at 125 pounds. She is now back down to 115, where she's had the most success in her career. Anytime I personally break down a rematch, I look at the first fight, and I have to decide, has anything changed since then? Are these effectively the same people? And it's just a few years later, or are they different people entirely? And if I look at this fight, it's tricky because while this fight was a little while ago, and, while they both have evolved, I don't think there's been dramatic changes. Effectively, Mackenzie Dern is still a grappler who is very tough, and Amanda Ribas is still a very well-rounded fighter. That first fight, Amanda Ribas wasn't afraid of the grappling at all. She won the striking exchanges, got the takedowns, wasn't worried on the ground. I don't see this being any different whatsoever. I think Amanda Ribas is the better striker. I think Amanda Ribas will get takedowns because I don't think she's afraid of the ground game at all. And obviously there should be some concern. It's still Mackenzie Dern, but on the other hand, it is 2025. There's not a secret. Everybody knows what Mackenzie Dern wants to do, and everybody's prepared for that. So Amanda Ribas is going to be the pick, and it's just unfortunate because what were the odds when this was the co-main event? What was that bet you had when this was the co-main event of UFC Tampa? Ribas was an underdog, and now she's a 2-1 favorite. And the only thing that changed is people looked at the fight.
Yeah, she opened plus 130. When odds open, they max you at $1,000, but I had $1,000 on Amanda Ribas plus 130. And honestly, I think they were worried about paying that out. I know books make billions and billions of dollars, but I think they knew that was going to get paid out, so they made the call to Dana, and they were like, "We're not going to be able to pay this out." And Dana's like, "I got you," and he moved the fight just so they wouldn't cash my bet.
Sure, could be. Who do you think wins this time?
So this is, and let me just, I'm transparent with the people, right? Let me be a little bit transparent here. I am a fan of Amanda. Was it Ribas? I am a fan of Amanda Ribas, right? I've been to a couple of her fights. Am I going to the Apex, sitting front row with Big Angie, big back Ange, because Amanda is fighting? Did I go to Tampa and then we're going?
I'm basically third wheeling this, by the way. I got dragged into this.
I'd say you got to.
He's there for her. I'm third wheel.
Go, man. You got to go, man. I can't be. it gets real weird if I'm there by myself. Okay, if I'm at the Apex front row wearing a shirt of Amanda sitting on a couch that you have to buy 2 tickets for, and I'm sitting there alone, things get real weird. But if you're there having a good time with me, no longer weird, right? So I will be front row. Yeah, it's because of Amanda. I'm a big fan of the way she fights, but no, not only the way that she fights. I mean, she's just an incredible person, right? She's obviously a beautiful girl, but the bubbly personality, the kindness that I've experienced firsthand, right? Because I have interviewed, I've talked to her directly, right? We've exchanged DMs, this and that. She is such a nice person. The entire family, I've talked to her father as well. They're the nicest people in the world. So yeah, I'm going to watch Amanda. I'm going to be supporting Amanda. I am biased. They have fought before. Amanda fucking mauled, steamrolled, destroyed Mackenzie Dern, what was it, in 2019 in their first matchup. So if you are betting Mackenzie Dern, because like 62% of the people picking on Tapology have been picking Mackenzie Dern for whatever reason, you are making the assumption that she is a better fighter now than she was back then. And is she? In my opinion, fuck yeah. I'm not going to sit here and disparage Mackenzie Dern and say she has no chance in this fight, because she is way better. I mean, you could tell she works her fucking ass off in the striking to try to get the wrestling going, working with Cejudo, working with boxing coaches, and her striking from then to now isn't even fucking close. She is really sharp with her hands. And like I said with Ihor, if you watch her hitting mitts, if you watch her even in that loopy fight, when she is moving forward and there's nothing coming at her and she can get that jab going and those combinations flowing, she is very good in the striking now. I'll say she's a very good offensive boxer. What did Loopy do? Gave her every opportunity in the world to move forward and throw those combinations, because Loopy fights like this. She shells up, she lets you throw the combinations, so Mackenzie would move forward, double jab, maybe a hook around the guard, maybe an uppercut. Loopy would wait, and the second she would return, or even when she would feint a return, what does Mackenzie do every single time? Throws her head back, extends her arms, because when you pressure Mackenzie Dern, she cannot strike while moving backwards. Every once in a while, she'll take a step back and she'll feint that little check left. Rarely throws it. Maybe they've incorporated it into that game. But if you pressure Mackenzie Dern, she can't do anything moving forward. She doesn't slip, right? There's no footwork to get the angle, to hit you with the shot. She's moving backwards, chin up in the air, arms extended. She wants to get back to space so she can be the one moving forward in the strike. And if you let her do that, like Loopy did, she can look really good. But if you pressure her, you get in her face, she really has no answer for anything, because she can't really go to the wrestling. Occasionally, like Loopy, when Loopy did pressure, she'll grab people and she'll try the judo. Guess what Amanda Ribas does better than anything that she does? Judo. She is known for the judo, and she is fucking huge at 115 pounds. Look at this face-off, not photoshopped. She is a fucking giant against Mackenzie Dern. I've been wanting her to stay at 115 pounds. She's 6-1. At 115 in this fight. So I know she struggled a little bit at 125. There's some close fights in there as well. Coming back down to 115. She is bigger than these girls. Mackenzie cannot use her judo against Amanda. She's not going to be the better striker. Amanda's going to be in her face. And if it does go to the ground, if Amanda wants to wrestle, whatever, Amanda doesn't give a flying fuck about Mackenzie Dern's jiu-jitsu. She took her down a couple times that first fight. Mackenzie immediately does move the hips. Here comes an arm bar. And Amanda's like, what are you doing? I'm back in your full guard. She has no issues with the jiu-jitsu. She's been doing jiu-jitsu just as long. Just because she doesn't enter these tournaments and win these accolades doesn't mean that Mackenzie is better than her. Well, we just saw Mackenzie, last summer in a jiu-jitsu tournament get armbarred like a minute and a half, right? She's not like this unstoppable force on the ground. She was like in a jiu-jitsu tournament, a girl just fucking like a real jiu-jitsu practitioner. So I think Amanda just has, Mackenzie beats girls when she can out-tough them or use her judo or have offensive striking. I don't think she does any of those against Amanda. Yeah, Amanda does get hit, and I wouldn't be surprised if at one point her nose is bleeding and this and that, but when you match fire with fire, Amanda can take a shot, slip a shot, return a shot. She's hurt girls, dropped Vivi. I think she hurt Verna as well with the head kick, which is another thing I saw with Mackenzie. She tries to catch, I went deep dive in the fucking tape here. This is a full breakdown, and I let Team Ribas know what's going on as well. As fights go on as well, Mackenzie tries to catch body kicks, right? Why does she do that? Because she wants a cheap takedown. Catch to the leg, and she tries to work off that takedown. When you're catching body kicks, what happens, Angelo? A lot of times you get fucking eat up with a fucking head kick trying to catch these body kicks. So that could be there as well. I think Ribas has, I think this is just I respect everything Mackenzie Dern's done. This is a terrible matchup for Mackenzie Dern, and I would be shocked if she wins this fight. So I'm all over Amanda Ribas here, and I haven't bet her yet because there's so many people talking about Mackenzie. Nobody's betting Mackenzie. Everyone's picking her to win, like as an underdog. Nobody's betting her. Go bet her, please, because I want better odds for Amanda. I'll bet it eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the odds are going to... They did yo-yo a tiny bit. She was minus 205 like the other day and then came down to minus 190.
I'm surprised they haven't dropped to like minus 175 or something because there's a lot of people like, I mean, Tapology, it's like 62% of the picks are Mackenzie, but nobody's betting her.
Well, and a lot of people, and I get that if you only saw her last fight and if you think as highly of Loopy as we do, but we have to remember Loopy is inconsistent and unreliable. And to your point, Mackenzie Dern just looked really good moving forward. And that wasn't even like the cleanest decision. A lot of people felt it went the other way. So
yeah, because once, I mean, Mackenzie too, when I talk about when she moves backwards, early in the fight, she can get away with it, right? Because your footwork's a little bit quicker and you're a little bit quicker with your head movement and you're extending and you're not getting hit as much. But she gets sloppier and slower. And Amanda Ribas, especially this being 5 rounds, she's been 5 rounds.
She did 5, didn't slow down at all.
Yeah.
At 10 pounds heavy.
When she smells blood, I mean, she is going to be all over. When Mackenzie Dern starts moving backwards and Amanda sees that look in her eye like, oh, she can't strike moving backwards, Amanda's not going to fucking stop.
Yeah, it should be a good fight. I am looking forward to it. It matters for the division. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a very good fight. $7,700 in DraftKings Fantasy versus $8,500. If you're on the Dern side, throw her in there at 77. If you're on the Ribas side, throw her in there. This is 5 rounds. I think it goes 5 rounds. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. There is a lot of factors here. Amanda can be dangerous. She's got plenty of finishes. And obviously Mackenzie Dern can be dangerous. But if there's a finish, even better for your DraftKings fantasy points. Check out every single thing we have to freaking offer. We're not just this show, right? We went out there and we put together what is the greatest premium offering on this planet. And we did that for you. And it's only $10 a month. For you. This is a ridiculously volatile sport. Anybody charging more than $10 is a greedy turd that thinks too highly of themselves. We have set the bar in this space and nobody comes anywhere close. We also have an app and you can check that app out now at WeWantPicks.com or just go to the App Store and search We Want Picks. Everything you can do on the website, you can do in the app and push notifications. Some of the tools that we offer is the line movement tracker, the prop hunter. We also have a $50 bonus for anybody that uses our affiliate links to sign up with any of our sportsbook partners. WeWantPicks.com/bets. You use the link, you sign up, and we will go ahead and give you a little bit of a kickback. Yes.
Someone said they're 2-3 in the last 5. How does this fight matter? They're both 30-plus years old and on a decline. Mackenzie Dern is ranked fucking 6th. Amanda Ribas is ranked 8th. The winner of this fight's going to get a top 5 fight, and if they win that, they're going to fuck a title shot. What the fuck are you talking about? Why does this matter?
And the person who made that comment doesn't, I guess, look at weight classes because Amanda's loss was at 125.
She's 6-1. If you're looking at why does this fight matter, if Amanda Ribas wins this fight, she's ranked 6th and she's 7-1 at 115 pounds.
Who'd she lose
So
to?
she's a fucking contender. Rodriguez.
She lost to Marina Rodriguez, who's old and done.
But I mean, it was a good, good striker. She nearly, that was that Herb Dean weird situation. You know what's funny is like she finished Amanda. Herb, like she thought she stopped the fight. Amanda got back up and almost got a fucking takedown. And if she would have got a takedown, she would have controlled that fight. And that would have been a wild blemish for Herb. Because I think if she got that takedown, she would have fucking ended up winning that fight.
Yeah.
Because Herb like kind of stopped and Marina stopped. And then Amanda grabbed her and almost tossed her. But there you go.
Well, there you go. 2 quick comments here. Cransation said, what was the video of Mackenzie Dern's accent? This is the first time I did ever that I've done a Mackenzie Dern breakdown. Didn't comment on her fake accent. She is an American from America.
You know what's funny, too, about that is because she's famously broke up from Nicolle now. I think the last, I don't want to, but I think the last public, appearance that they had was at the Apex when I was there in October together, and I took a picture with Mackenzie Dern, and I think she kind of sensed the good guy energy off of me and was like, man, this is what a good guy is like, and Nicolle is just not a good guy, and I think it could have been my fault.
It could be. That video is called The Evolution of Mackenzie Dern's Accent, and it literally just has her as a little girl being like, hi, I'm Mackenzie Dern, to then now her needing a translator in the octagon. $50, 50 from Riff Raf, glad the We Want Picks family is back in session. Premium had a fantastic year in 2024 and will kill it again. WWP should be charging double, but they don't. Couple things. One, wildly generous. Jakey Boy wore the jersey, I guess, or shirt, hoodie you want to call it, that Riff Raff made for you. I saw you wore that in your quick picks. I believe it was your. No, you wore it in your Future Champ video. Yeah, the Future Champ video.
I don't know if you saw that Riff Raff, but I threw it on for my. It's a champion hoodie, so I threw it on for that.
There you go. Good thinking. Yeah, that is a good idea. So wildly generous with your money and things you send for mail day. We appreciate you very much. And then also, we can definitely charge double. If we doubled the price, we'd lose some members. Of course.
What's
we wouldn't lose half of them.
You know what's surprising about that? Probably for most people is they were probably because everyone's like, oh, greedy Angelos, he talks about all he cares about, blah 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 blah. He's the one that if it was up to me, guys, this shit would be 150. This shit would be fucking 150. This shit might be $200 a fucking month if it was up for me. Angelos like, no, we're not. I'm like, Angelo, I mean, $12, $13. I mean, come on, man.
No, I saw when Luigi, whatever his name was, took that shot at the CEO there. I saw there was a trend on TikTok of all the CEOs who need to be worried about what's coming. And then I saw a video of like CEOs that are safe. And there's only two on there. It was the Costco CEO for keeping the hot dog and a big ass hot dog and a soda at $1.50 for like 30 years. How big a hot dog? Big ass hot dog and a soda
looks pretty average to me.
We'll find out when we do the molds. And then the Arizona iced tea guy, because he famously was like, they're like, you could charge more. He's like, why? He's like, I make a good living. Why? And that's honestly what the $10 is. I've used Costco as the model. Like, we're the Costco model. It's volume. I'm going to keep it at $10. And as long as we have thousands of members, which we do, then we're good. If we have 10 members, that's a problem. But at volume,
I mean, honestly, and the best way, honestly, I've said this before, but the best way to see proof of concept is with volume. Are you constantly getting more people signing up as you're keeping that core base? And we're growing. We still grow like crazy. So people are signing up and they're enjoying what they're having. They're sticking around and more people are finding out and they're signing up and the numbers climb for a reason.
What was interesting
if it was a joke, we wouldn't have 4,000 fucking people signed up. I'll tell you that.
I dread that couple of week break because so we lose members every single day to like credit card fails and stuff like that, right? Just normal attrition. Credit cards expire and whatever. So we have to gain people every day to maintain, and we do. And that number we've always gained more than we've lost. But that 3 week break is brutal because the 3 week break, it only goes down. Like that's the one point of the year we're not gaining more than we're losing. And it's devastating. And last year during the 3 week break, I was like, we dipped under 2,000. And I was like, oh, great. This year we went into the break and I'm like, I don't know where we're going to dip. We didn't even dip under 4,000, which means we doubled in size in 1 year. And that's because of you guys. So genuinely appreciate every single one of you. That's why we're constantly stepping up the content.
Well,
dude, the vlogs.
It's not. I mean, it's because of me.
It's because of you.
You should thank me for all those strong numbers.
Thank you. Thank you for the robot picks. But the vlogs, everything, it's all just trying to entertain you all.
Now it's the same price, increased value.
Yeah, and we have a couple of huge tools coming too. But I don't like to tease things until they're out because if it never shows up, somebody's like,
I love teasing Sam.
There you go. I do too. That fucking alcoholic. Anyway, all right, let's go. Thank you guys, and hopefully we get to see some of you at the Apex this Saturday, weather permitting. Any words for the peeps before we shut this 2.5-hour stream down?
No, I was panicking about the weather. I've got 3 different flights booked to get out at some point, but I think it's looking a little bit better for us. And if you're praying men, praying women, a little prayer for us to get our
Say
flight.
A little prayer for me, together, forever, and break my heart. Is that from Sister Act?
Sounds like a High School Musical song or something.
Is that what's the Sister Act song? I think that's the Sister Act song.
What's the movie where she coaches the Knicks?
She coaches the Knicks? I don't know. I know the one where she's a fake nun.
I'm talking about Whoopi,
Sister
right?
Act. Yeah, Sister Act.
Yeah, I think she won a contest or something to coach the Knicks. What is that called?
I don't know. Joanna Man? But that was what's his name dressing like a woman. That was Arsenio Hall. Just like, all right, we got to go. Anyway, this guy asked about this fight. Hey, Nolian Pazak, I have a full UFC 311 breakdown and a full Saudi Arabia breakdown. on the channel. Go watch that. See you guys. Thanks for hanging out. We appreciate you. Back to normal fight week schedules.
Oh, and
I fucking what?
that was a joke.
Oh.